President will announce $8 billion for a border wall through executive action. So can he do it? Well, technically, yes, but not without conditions. Under transfer authority, it goes like this. Remember, Congress controls the power of the purse. Spending originates with them, but the president can use executive action to move funds to priorities within a given department. However, congressional appropriators from both the House and the Senate must sign off.
Fox's Griff Jenkins.
This move riled Democratic leaders. In a joint statement from Senators Chuck Schumer and Speaker Nancy Pelosi, they wrote declaring a national emergency would be a lawless act, a gross abuse of the power of the presidency, and a desperate attempt to distract from the fact that President Trump broke his core promise to have Mexico pay for his wall.
We have a new Attorney General, William Barr, who also had the job under the first President Bush, was sworn in after senators confirmed him. Progress reported out of the latest round of talks trying to end the U.S.-China trade dispute. Fox's Simon Owen monitoring live from London.
Dave, U.S. lead negotiator Robert Lighthizer paying a visit to Chinese President Xi Jinping at the end of 2 days of talks in Beijing. Lighthizer saying officials have made headway on important and difficult issues, but he didn't offer specifics. President Xi saying China and the U.S., as the world's largest economies, shoulder important responsibilities. Chinese state media says there'll be more talks in Washington next week. The Trump administration is due to impose increased tariffs on Chinese imports in just over 2 weeks. Dave.
This is Fox News.
A chilly start to the early morning, 15 degrees. We've even seen a few snow flurries out there this morning. 5:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Jason Van Dyke's wife is demanding answers after her husband was beaten in his cell by other inmates last week. Tiffany Van Dyke asked state and federal officials yesterday why her husband was transferred from an Illinois state prison to a federal facility in Connecticut without her knowledge.
They put my husband in a setting to be harmed because of the fact that he was a white man who harmed a black gentleman in the line of duty. An
attorney for the former Chicago police officer says he was attacked within hours of arriving at his new unit. Chicago police say they've been interviewing two persons of interest in connection to an alleged attack on Empire actor Jussie Smollett. Our reporter Miguel Almaguer has more details in the loop this morning.
Police say the two men who actor Jussie Smollett says attacked him are affiliated with his show Empire. Both men, who had earlier been called people of interest, have been questioned by detectives, but are not considered suspects.
Their identities are not yet officially being revealed. But again, the Chicago Tribune is reporting both of those men are black. Smollett claimed the two men yelled racist slurs and attacked him, putting a rope around his neck. Meantime, authorities are on the record confirming there is currently no evidence to support an ABC7 report that the two men staged the attack with Smollett, who feared he was being written off the Fox show. Illinois legislators moved quickly Thursday to deliver one of the new Democrat Governor J.B. Pritzker's top campaign promises, a gradual hike in the statewide minimum wage from $8.25 an hour to $15 an hour, more than double the pay floor that most of its Midwest neighbors require. Minority Republicans showed data and argued it will cost jobs in a state where more than 60% of the residents live within 40 miles of a state border. One man is dead, another in serious condition following a shooting on Chicago's far north side. Police say the victims were shot last night while sitting in a parked vehicle in the 6500 block of North Albany. Police tell us no arrests have been made. A bus driver is in stable condition after a stolen vehicle crashed into a CTA bus on the southwest side. The stolen vehicle sped off last night when officers tried to curb it in the 2700 block of West 25th. The vehicle then headed south on California before the driver lost control and collided with the bus. A woman is dead, struck by a Green Line train in Chicago's West Loop. The incident happened yesterday at the Clinton station on West Lake. 3 CTA employees were hospitalized over emotional stress. Cook County Republicans are backing Willie Wilson in the Chicago mayoral race. The businessman has received endorsements from the Cook County Republican Party Chairman Sean Morrison, Chicago Young Republicans, and the Northwest Side GOP Club. Wilson says his Republican backing shows he can win and has appeal across the political spectrum. The mayoral primary is less than 2 weeks away. In that ahead of that primary, Chicago mayoral candidate Paul Vallis is releasing his first television commercial. Former CPS CEO will focus on City Hall corruption. Candidate is the 9th out of the 13 hopefuls in fundraising, with just under $1 million in donations. A jury has convicted a Northwest Indiana mayor of 1 count each of bribery and tax obstruction, while acquitting him of a second bribery count. The jury returned the verdicts against 38-year-old Portage Mayor James Snyder during its second day of deliberations. Snyder, under a Republican, was found guilty of accepting $13,000 from a Portage company after it received contracts worth more than $1.25 million for garbage trucks. Under Indiana law, a felony conviction immediately removes an elected official from public office. Well, you've heard this name before, lawyer Michael Avenatti. He claims he has a new video with evidence showing R. Kelly having sex with a 14-year-old girl. The attorney says he's given Cook County prosecutors a videotape that wasn't among the evidence used against Kelly 10 years ago in a child pornography case that ended with his acquittal. Well, here's your White Sox story for the day. It's a brief one, but you'll like it. Tommy Giordano, longtime scout who played only 11 games in the major leagues, but spent more than 7 decades in professional baseball, died yesterday. He was 93. Giordano, who you probably have never heard of before, worked for the Atlanta Braves as baseball's oldest scout through last season. Giordano got a cup of coffee in the bigs toward the end of the 1953 season, when he was called up by the struggling Philadelphia Athletics, soon to become the Kansas City A's, and then, of course, the A's of Oakland. His career highlight? Homering off 20-game winner that year, Virgil Trucks of the Chicago White Sox, in his second career at bat. Baseball will miss Tommy Giordano, 93. Patrick Kane had a goal and 2 helpers. Blackhawks beat the Devils 5-2 at the UC, continuing their hot streak. They're within 2 points of a wild card spot, and they've won 8 of 9. Trent Frazier and Ayo Dosunmu both had 15. Fighting Illini get a road win in the Big Ten, knocking off Ohio State 63-56 to improve to 6-8 in the Big Ten. Here's your other Big Ten news of the day. Megan Gustafson, remember that name? 27 points, 17 rebounds. Last night, she became the Big Ten Conference's all-time leader in double-doubles, while leading number 14 Iowa, the Iowa women, to a win over Illinois, 88-66. The news is a service of Peloton live studio classes in the comfort of your own home. Winter or summer, rain or shine, with the Peloton bike, it's always the perfect weather to sweat. And with up to 14 live rides a day and over 10,000 or more on demand, nothing gets between you and your workout. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom. 5:09, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Winter stinks. Snow, ice, freezing temperatures, more snow. Escape Chicago and join Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. You'll stay at the Marvel Residences Luxury Resort in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. It's a beautiful, all-inclusive resort located between Rainforest Mountains and the Pacific Ocean. Don't wait to book your Passport to Paradise trip with AM 560 and Apple Vacations. Visit 560theanswer.com/passport. That's 560theanswer.com/passport.
If you've considered a MyPillow but procrastinated, the MyPillow 4-pack offer is still available. That's 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows plus free shipping, all for the price of 1 premium MyPillow. They're amazing pillows, so don't procrastinate. You'll sleep better. You'll feel better. They're washable, dryable, and have a money-back offer, and you can still get 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress topper. Your mattress will feel brand new and improved for a lot less than a new mattress. Or get those great pet beds that my dog Bunky loves. Just use the promo code Amy. for the MyPillow 4-pack offer with free shipping and the 30% discount on mattress toppers, pet beds, and even the Giza cotton sheets. Visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. And don't forget to use the promo code Amy. That's MyPillow.com, promo code Amy.
Trans ideology is in our schools, government, churches, even our homes.
We need to start taking some action in stopping this total madness.
Join the Illinois Family Institute for our Trans Ideology Worldview Conference, Saturday, March 16th at Stone Church in Orland Park, with Dr. Michelle Curtella, authors Denise Schick and Douglas Wilson, and Walt Heyer, a former transgender, with encouragement for others.
Let me help you realize who you are.
The Illinois Family Institute Worldview Conference, biblical training for today's culture, 10 a.m. Saturday, March 16th at Stone Church in Orland Park. $20 per person, $50 per family. To attend, call 708-781-9328. 708-781-9328 or visit illinoisfamily.org.
Shake off the cold and visit the Chicago Auto Show at McCormick Place now through the 18th. Download the Chicago Auto Show app and save $3 on an adult ticket, good for any day of the show. Find out more at ChicagoAutoShow.com.
5:11. Let's get an update on the roads this early morning in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Kennedy Expressway outbound traffic is stop and go from Nagel to Harlem. This is due to overnight construction. The entrance ramp from Harlem is closed. The roadway is down to one lane in that area. Should be wrapping up shortly. There is also a closure of the on-ramp from Cumberland. Looking at a travel time of about 25 minutes from downtown to O'Hare. Inbound fine at 20, and the reversibles are open inbound. Edens is fine. Eisenhower to Stevenson as well. There's outbound work on the Rhine again today. 87th split. I-57 okay. Bishop Ford as well. There's outbound work Sibley to 154. Tollways are good. We'll have concert traffic tonight at Rosemont and UIC. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's meteorologist Steve Williams.
Intervals of clouds and sun, breezy and cold today, high 22. Partly cloudy cold tonight and a low 13. Clouds not as cold tomorrow, high near 30. Some snow on Sunday, 1 to 2 inches possible, high Sunday 28. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
15 at O'Hare, 20 along the lakefront, 18 this morning at Midway, and 13 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And scene. Okay, that was great, everybody. Let's take 5, and then we're going to take it right from the top. The Smollett and his mighty Empire art players.
Yeah,
wow,
we need
a lot
little
of
more,
developments.
need a little more emotion, guys, when we do this the second time, okay?
A lot of developments yesterday, including, and I'm not talking about his Good Morning America interview, which we went over on yesterday's show.
And there's other things that we have to get to on that thing.
2 Chicago brothers of Nigerian descent who attended Lakeview High School. We should know. Should assume they come from Lakeview.
Stop. But there's a huge contingency of Nigerians that live right there at Byron and Sheridan, okay?
2 Chicago brothers who attend Lakeview High School, potential persons of interest in the alleged attack on Jussie Smollett, detained by Chicago police at O'Hare on Wednesday. Police execute a search warrant on their home on Wednesday night, and at least one of them has appeared as an extra in Empire. That's the older brother. The younger brother's YouTube channel has various audition reels, including 2 mock police interrogations that were uploaded less than 2 weeks before Smollett's alleged attack. This is CWB Chicago reporting. They've been doing a great job reporting on this case.
Oh, it's amazing. And did you see the door? They kicked in the door of their apartment there, and there's a list of things they took. Normal household items. They did take 2 bottles of bleach. They don't know if that's related to it. They took a red hat, tablets, laptops, some scarves, a wool coat, another laptop. They just listed all the items that they blogged in. I've been told that they're being held at 51st and Wentworth right now.
Now, police
questioning them, and they also questioned Smollett last night.
Yeah, the police are saying the official line is that we're still treating Smollett as the victim, but now the Chicago Press Corps, ABC, CBS, they all are, citing multiple sources that suggest this was staged, that suggesting that these individuals could be charged, the 2 Nigerian brothers could be charged as soon as today.
Yeah, that's a possibility, and they did it all because supposedly Jussie Smollett was getting written off the show.
That's one.
So they wanted. That's one
potential motive.
Yeah, but then on the Twitter. I'm sorry. How old am I? The
very.
Twitter and the Instagram. On Twitter last night, the producers of Empire said, "No, we weren't going to write him off the show." Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not buying that.
There's still this other additional theory out there that was a fight between. I saw this circulating too. Again, rumor. But a fight that was the result of Smollett cheating on his boyfriend, and so there's the whole personal romantic potential motive as well to stage this. We don't know. Most of the reporting seems to be what you said, Amy, which is that this was about trying to make it impossible to write him out of the show.
Yeah, so that the whole world would sympathize with him, and that's what happened on ABC's Good Morning America yesterday. Listen to the anchors. Real quick. I know we played his audio, but how they're just falling over this poor victim, this poor gay black man.
Jussie Smollett, he's answering questions about his story for the first time.
He really is, George. And the incident has sparked both an outpouring of support as well as questions about what happened that night on a cold Chicago street. Jussie was very passionate in his account, detailing the racist and homophobic words he says his attackers use, words that we cannot broadcast.
Oh, no. So, they're so real and raw, and we can't broadcast them, Dan. We just simply can't. But then they did.
Well, here's the thing.
Great acting, Jussie. You should win an Emmy for that.
Well, and don't forget the brothers, if that's them. Remember, he said those 2 shadowy figures, the silhouettes caught on video, he thinks those were the attackers, and that's who the police have identified as the 2 Nigerian brothers.
And they picked him up after they got back from Nigeria.
Right.
So apparently they went to Nigeria after the staged event and then just got back.
So the interesting thing about this, it certainly explains how 2 men could pick Jussie Smollett out at 2 a.m. in the darkness across the street and say, "Hey, Empire guy," or whatever they allegedly said. Yeah.
Hey, Empire guy.
Right. So that starts to make a little more sense. Also, this, just some background on the 2 brothers. A brother who appeared on Empire has no adult arrests in Chicago since 2014. The Tribune reports that he was charged with attempted murder in Cook County in 2011 and pled down to aggravated battery. His brother was charged with DUI near their home in 2015 at the age of 21. No other adult arrests for the 2, but those are significant adult arrests.
Also, they got the clothing line, they believe, at the Ace Hardware in Wrigleyville. And there's 2 there. I called one store in Southport. That's not the store. They don't sell clothing line. But the other one does. And he wouldn't confirm or deny if anyone there had come in recently and bought clothing line.
Now, we got this call from another extra on Empire yesterday. Lives in the West Loop. He was saying, he's interacted with Jussie Smollett and he's been treated very well. And he thinks Jussie Smollett's a nice guy and so forth. So he's having a difficult time reconciling it. And I can understand that, too. He presents well, comes across well. Obviously, he's a successful actor, but he's a successful actor. And
does any believe he was acting yesterday? 312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Well, would you say at this point, motivation, the alleged racial or anti-gay motivation, that doesn't seem to be holding up under scrutiny, does it? That this is the Trump country stuff? Yeah, or there's MAGA country.
Well, listen to what he said yesterday about Trump.
That doesn't seem to be. That doesn't seem to be. So for those who rushed to rally for Jussie, I mean, this is like Covington all over again from a different perspective. For those who rushed to rally for him, the march in L.A., AFL-CIO President Richard Trumka standing in solidarity with our SAG-AFTRA brother, and all of this other blather. Would you like to revise and extend your remarks at this juncture?
Oh, yeah. Kamala Harris, everybody.
Maxine
Waters. Yeah. Cory Booker. I mean, the list goes on and on. What he said during the interview is, I want a little gay boy who might watch this to see that I fought back. It does not take anything away from people who are not able to do that, but I fought back, then ran off. Okay.
Right.
But
he's the hero in the story that he wrote.
Yeah, and he won't say President Trump by name. By the way, he refers to him as a number.
I come really, really hard against 45. I come really, really hard against his administration. And I don't hold my tongue.
Oh, okay. So he put him in the narrative. He put him in his plot scheme. Oh, and on the way out, yell, "This is MAGA country." Okay, that's a good line. Who wants that line? Nigerian brother number 1, or does Nigerian brother number 2 want that line?
Do you think Jussie Smollett's pilot will be picked up? Marty in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I heard a different story. I heard the guys didn't yell, "Hey, Empire." I heard they yelled out, "Hey, 588-2300.
Okay. Very good. Thanks, Marty. A joke only a Chicagoan could love.
Yes.
Mike in Union.
Hey, just a little side thought. These two Nigerian brothers had to come back through immigration and customs. Did the local police, since we're a sanctuary city and state, did they use immigration to find out that these guys were back, and that's how they detained them? I was just curious about that. If we could find out, huh?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mike. I don't know. Now, I don't know the legal status of the brothers. I don't know
think
that's
they're
been
fine
mentioned.
if they went through Lakeview High School and graduated from there. I mean,
you can't attend a school and be here illegally?
No, I don't know. They sounds like they've been here for a long time.
Mm.
But they were picked up. I was told when they got back, they went to Nigeria for a few weeks, came through O'Hare Wednesday night, and they picked them up. And they were conducting the raid on their apartment on the north side in Wrigleyville at the same time.
Well, we will try to effort just to confirm their status, not because in part it's relevant since both have been charged with serious crimes while they've been in Chicago, and they're not that old. I mean, again, the younger brother got the DUI in 2015 at the age of 21, so he's 24, 25, and the older brother doesn't look that much older. Right. So, no, it's a legitimate question.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Imagining a better bank starts with looking at the savings rates most banks offer and saying, really? Capital One is building something better. You can open a Capital One savings account with one of the nation's best savings rates from anywhere, like here, or here, or here. One of the nation's best savings rates. Opened online, at a Capital One location, or from anywhere. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
The weather outside might feel like winter, but if you've got school-age kids, you should be thinking about back-to-school season. Specifically, you should be thinking about where you'll be sending your kids to school this fall. If you've always felt like you didn't really have a choice to send your kids to a private school because of the cost, then listen up. We want to tell you about halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find local private schools from across Chicagoland offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at half the price with no catch. Find a school near you, purchase the tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. It's that simple. Halfpriceschools.com has schools located throughout Chicagoland, including Westminster Christian School in Elgin, Kingswood Academy in Darien, St. John's Lutheran in Chicago's Portage Park neighborhood, Covenant Christian School in Aurora, Jordan Baptist School in Burbank, and many others. Make private school a real option for your family for the first time this year. But don't wait. Many of these vouchers will sell out. Visit halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
Do something for yourself. Get healthier. Make a commitment to living a better, healthier, stronger life. And you could do that with the help of Balance of Nature. It's 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies in a capsule to boost your immune system all winter long. You've heard the testimonials on the air, and I could tell you they are 100% real. How do I know this? Well, I spent time with Dr. Douglas Howard, his beautiful wife, and his son, and Howard's the founder and creator of Balance of Nature, and he showed me the emails, played the voicemails. They described to me how they get the fruits and veggies into a capsule. There's no preservatives. Trust me, buy it now before you get sick. And when you order it right now on balanceofnature.com, type Chicago in that promo code for 35% off. Again, promo code Chicago. Or go old school and call this number, 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Balance of Nature, promo code Chicago.
Looking for ways to save with your Medicare plan? Walgreens is a preferred network pharmacy with many plans nationwide, which could mean lower copays for you. So bring your prescriptions to a Walgreens pharmacy today to start saving. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Walgreens participates as a preferred network pharmacy with United Healthcare, Cigna HealthSpring, and Express Scripts Medicare. For a complete list of available plans, please contact 1-800-MEDICARE. TTY users should call 1-877-486-2048. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or consult www.medicare.gov. Other pharmacies are available in our network.
Napa know-how.
Right now, you can get a $20 prepaid Visa gift card by mail with the purchase of a Napa Legend Premium battery. Its durability and power make it the obvious choice for people who hate getting stranded by a dead car battery. So pretty much everyone. The Napa Legend Premium battery and $20 back. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers. Limit 2 per household while supplies last. Offer ends 2/28/19.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, quick note since we're on Chicago mayor's race. You know, today's the 15th. The primary election is February 26th.
It's coming up soon, folks.
Less than 2 weeks away, mayoral candidate Willie Wilson yesterday held another one of his signature events, handing out tens of thousands of dollars to help people cover their property taxes with the first installments just arriving.
It just felt wrong. I mean, it was so, I know his heart's in the right place, but it just, the optics of it just seemed very strange.
Seems great to me.
Well,
love it.
But he's
Absolutely
buying, and he
love
said
it.
he's not buying votes because the money is not coming from his campaign. It's coming from his own foundation. And the people that they interviewed, oh my gosh, was one woman from Roseland who lost her job, and she was practically in tears. I mean, he is doing God's work, but it just seems a little strange.
Yeah, I love
He's
it.
buying votes.
Yeah, not buying votes. Give me a break.
Well, you don't think
This
those
is
people are going to vote for him? If I
good.
took money
They-
from him,
they
I
should
would vote for him.
They should. So he's actually helping, as opposed to $5 to give and a ride to the polls, which is what the machine has been doing in the city for 100 years. I mean, the
Free breakfast.
the Pollyannish, like, oh golly, oh my goodness, this is so unseemly for Chicago politics. Give me a break. Not to mention Willie Wilson's generosity in this manner well predates his run for mayor. He's been doing it for a long, long time. And so I don't think you have to change who you are. In fact, you shouldn't change who you are when you run for office. So that's Willie Wilson. The other finalist for my support, Paul Vallis, released his first ad. It features money as well, but in a different kind of way.
There's nothing Chicago politicians fear more than this broom. I'm Paul Vallis, and I'll sweep out the money that has corrupted City Hall. I'll invest in schools, fighting crime, and creating jobs. I'm running for mayor to sweep out the Chicago machine and to invest in people and not corrupt politicians. I have the experience, the solutions, and the tools to do it. Join us in cleaning up City Hall for all Chicagoans.
It's like
They're sweeping them out and they're going to hit the road, Jack.
Yeah, it's like
I feel like I should do a routine.
I feel like
Jazz
it was a
hands.
scene in like a Boardwalk Empire.
Did somebody wait? Did somebody say Empire?
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
Again, no word on whether Jussie Smollett's Empire spinoff, has been picked up yet, but we'll let you know.
Coming up on
and Paul Vallis, you should see it. It's actually a pretty snappy ad, and
good.
I like the broom visual. So that's
the metaphor of the broom,
it's
getting rid of all of them.
Vallis, the sweeper.
Good.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's a pretty good ad. So we'll see.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Trump to sign the border security deal, and he's going to make an announcement and have an explanation at 9 a.m. this morning from the Rose Garden.
And you can hear it here live. Keep it on AM 560.
But also you get a national emergency with it. Little zinger. And Nancy Pelosi, none too thrilled at 5:38.
And later, the man versus the mountain lion. He has survived, and you have to hear the tale. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
President Trump is planning to declare a national emergency along the southern border today. This morning, the president will sign a budget bill that keeps the federal government open through the end of the fiscal year. You can hear that Rose Garden ceremony on AM 560 this morning. California Democrat Congressman John Garamendi explains he believes it was a good compromise that was reached on both sides.
The Democrats and the Republicans in both the House and the Senate came to a conclusion, a compromise on what to do with border security. There's far more money than $1.3 billion for border security.
Immediately afterward, the president will declare a national and humanitarian emergency. Facebook reportedly this morning negotiating a settlement with the Federal Trade Commission that would include a multi-billion-dollar fine. Washington Post says the settlement deals with Facebook's privacy practices. William Barr is America's new Attorney General.
The yeas are 54, the nays are 45. Nomination is confirmed.
Barr previously headed the Justice Department under President George H.W. Bush. A Colorado man is telling the tale about how he killed a mountain lion with his bare hands. Travis Kaufman says he was attacked near Horsetooth Mountain in Larimer County.
It was going toward my face, so I threw up my hands to kind of block my face, at which point it grabbed onto my hand and wrist.
Kaufman eventually wrestled the big cat to the ground and then suffocated it, and then offered some advice to those who want to go running alone. Don't wear headphones. Run with a buddy instead. Jason Van Dyke's wife is demanding answers after her husband was beaten in his cell by other inmates last week.
They put my husband in a setting to be harmed because of the fact that he was a white man who harmed a black gentleman in the line of duty.
An attorney for the former police officer says he was attacked within hours of arriving at that new unit. Chicago police say they've been interviewing two persons of interest connected to the alleged attack on Empire actor Jussie Smollett. Their identities not yet officially being revealed, but the Tribune says both of them are black. Illinois legislators move quickly to deliver one of Democrat Governor J.B. Pritzker's top campaign promises, what they call a gradual hike in the statewide minimum wage from $8.25 to $15 an hour. Chicago's Symphony Orchestra could be going on strike. Musicians voting this week to authorize a work stoppage if contract negotiations are not resolved by next month. Sorry, Carlton, that dance, it's not worthy of a copyright. U.S. Copyright Office is declining a request to register the Carlton dance. Actor Alfonso Ribeiro says he invented that dance when he was on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in 1991. The unique dance has now been ripped off by recent video games, and the actor's trying to sue to get royalties for the dance he claims he invented. Patrick Kane had a goal and two helpers. Blackhawks have won 8 of 9. They beat the Devils 5-2 at the United Center. What's got into the Fighting Illini? Another win in the Big Ten. They hold off Ohio State in Columbus 63-56. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is just in awe of what's coming from the left.
The infant would be delivered, the infant would be kept comfortable, and then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother.
Let me pick my jaw up off the floor. Let the fact that not a single Democrat seems to be denouncing this evil sink in.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Looking for ways to save with your Medicare plan? Walgreens is a preferred network pharmacy with many plans nationwide, which could mean lower copays for you. So bring your prescriptions to a Walgreens pharmacy today to start saving. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Walgreens participates as a preferred network pharmacy with United Healthcare, Cigna HealthSpring, and Express Scripts Medicare. For a complete list of available plans, please contact 1-800-MEDICARE. TTY users should call 1-877-486-2048. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or consult www.medicare.gov. Other pharmacies are available on our network.
Napa know-how.
Right now, you can get a $20 prepaid Visa gift card by mail with the purchase of a Napa Legend Premium Battery. Its durability and power make it the obvious choice for people who hate getting stranded by a dead car battery. So pretty much everyone. The Napa Legend Premium Battery and $20 back. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers. Limit 2 per household while supplies last. Offer ends 2/28/19.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. Stay warm this winter. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for winter storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
5:37, a check on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Traffic is starting to build on the inbound expressways, especially on the south side. It's heavy on the inbound Bishop Ford Freeway, Cottage Grove to the merge. Looking at about a 2-minute delay there. I-57 still okay. The inbound Orion, tight traffic. 18th to Bird Circle, 17 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 15, but there is road work from 87th split in the 3 right lanes. Prepare to slow down there. That work's scheduled till 6 this morning. Edens is fine, the Kennedy as well. Inbound Eisenhower getting a little congested around Des Plaines Avenue. Inbound Stevenson, a little heavy, Cicero to Kedzie. Tollways are looking good right now. We see no issues on I-80. No problem, Shreveport and Northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, a breezy, colder day, clouds and sunshine, with a high near 23. Partly cloudy, very cold overnight, low 13. Currently 15. Next news coming up at 6, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer
We have new information now also on the plane crash.
on AM 560.
Captain Sum Ting Wong, Wee Tu Lo, Ho Lee Fook, and Bang Ding Ao.
The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and again, 9 a.m. this morning on these airwaves, you'll hear the president from the Rose Garden addressing his decision, apparently, to sign the border security funding deal that was reached, that was voted on yesterday, that has been sent to his desk, and also providing a bit of a zinger as Mitch McConnell announced to his Senate colleagues from the floor.
I've just had an opportunity to speak with President Trump. And he, I would say to all my colleagues, has indicated he's prepared to sign the bill. He will also be issuing a national emergency declaration at the same time. And I've indicated to him that I'm going to support the national emergency declaration. So for all of my colleagues, the President will sign the bill.
There you go. And the national emergency declaration, what do you think of the two-pronged response from the President to Congress? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. The President's decision to go ahead. All right, I'll link the compromise, but I'm also going to go ahead and declare the national emergency. I said I would multiple times over the last several weeks to round up some additional dollars for the kind of border barrier that I want to have completed by the 2020.
And he's going to take $3.5 billion from the Military Construction Fund, $2.5 billion from Pentagon Counter Narcotics Funds, and $600 million from the Treasury Forfeiture Funds. That's what he's going to lay out today with his plan, and then to build his wall.
And this shouldn't come as a surprise because, as Mick Mulvaney said the other weekend on Meet the Press, his chief of staff, the president has tasked us to look to find other available monies that are under executive discretion. And so they were at the ready. Nancy Pelosi had a bit of a different take than Mitch McConnell. And, of course, she talked about the dangerous precedent this is setting, which we'll address and take your responses to as well. What would a Democrat president do with this precedent that the president is on the cusp of setting?
Did I ever say I was filing a legal challenge?
You said Democrats.
I may. That's an option, and we'll review our options. But it's important to note that when the president declares this emergency, first of all, it's not an emergency, what's happening at the border. It's a humanitarian challenge to the president has tried to sell a bill of goods to America. But putting that aside, just in terms of the president making an end run around Congress, here he said, let us respect what the committee will do, and then walks away from it. But in any event, the president is doing an end run about Congress, about the power of the purse. You've heard me say over and over again, Article 1, the legislative branch, the power of the purse, the power to declare war, many other powers listed in the Constitution, and, of course, the responsibility to have oversight. So the president is doing an end run around that. We will review our options. We'll be prepared to respond appropriately to it. I know the Republicans have some unease about it, no matter what they say, because if the president can declare an emergency on something that he has created as an emergency, an illusion that he wants to convey, just think of what a president with different values can present to the American people. You want to talk about a national emergency? Let's talk about today, the one-year anniversary of another manifestation of the epidemic of gun violence in America. That's a national emergency. Why don't you declare that emergency, Mr. President? I wish you would. But a Democratic president can do that.
Well, what a Democratic president did was President Obama, with his executive action on immigration. Remember, he halted the deportation of undocumented parents of Dreamers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that I didn't think that was an emergency or rose to a national emergency.
Well,
at the time.
Here's the thing. There's two things here. One is the precedent setting. The second is the constitutionality of declaring national emergency in this space. Three, is there an emergency, or is it just like a humanitarian challenge? You know, the sort of parsing of words you get into with Democrats. We play the statistics, the recitation of the violent crime statistics by President Trump, given to him by Homeland Security Secretary Nielsen earlier this week. Tens of thousands of violent crimes, 3,000 murders, tens of thousands of sexual assaults, and on down the line of Class X felonies. Boy, I tell you, that level of victimization by people in this country illegally, you call that a challenge? Okay. A crime control issue, whatever you want to call it, that certainly falls within the province of the National Emergencies Act. And this is not just me saying it. Legal scholars from Andy McCarthy to Jonathan Turley have also said it. Now others on the right, like David French, have said it's unconstitutional, disagree. It's okay. You can discuss it. But here's something else about national emergency declaration. So we're doing apples to apples here. There are 31 emergency declarations currently in force. Blocking investment in Burma, prohibiting the import of blood diamonds from Sierra Leone. National emergencies regarding Iranian oil and the movement of vessels near Cuba. So in terms of the precedent-setting argument, I mean, do you understand where we're at? In terms of what a Democrat president might do? A Democrat president might do what Nancy Pelosi is intimating no matter what President Trump does. Have you seen what the Democrat Socialist Party looks like these days? Do you think they're all of a sudden, I mean, here's when you know that they are out of arguments, when the left is out of arguments. They start referring to the Constitution, which is a workaround for them, except and unless there's a provision that has any immediate utility. Spare me. Oh, if the president doesn't do this, you wouldn't have a President Kamala Harris declare a national emergency and try to ban guns, which is the direction Pelosi was heading. She'd only do it if Trump opened the door. The door's been open, okay? So let's just get a real handle on where we are, because some of these sort of ivory tower arguments coming from National Review in particular, which I like, and it's okay that Jonah Goldberg and David French don't have the same perspective on Trump that I do or that you do. That's okay. I can tolerate dissent, and you should be able to, too. Address the substance of the arguments. But these are the arguments they're making are in a complete vacuum and are Pollyannish with respect to what the left would do if they were to install a president, if they were to have a Democrat socialist in the White House, regardless of what Trump does here. So let's just be honest with ourselves so we can have a substantive conversation, and that includes some of the sort of never Trumpers or sometime Trumpers on the right. Dustin in Elk Grove Village, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, Dan, I was just wondering if you could comment on, say, the advantages maybe in the court for Trump doing a national emergency versus, say, the governor of Texas declaring a state of emergency to get federal funding.
Well, yeah, it's an interesting point. Thanks for the call, Dustin. And it was something we talked a little bit earlier in the week. There's the possibility, rather than doing a national emergency, you do a federalist play, right, which is you work with friendly administrations at the state level. Abbott in Texas would be the prime example, to do in concert with the state what you can't get done simply through federal action. Because if you were only going to do this compromise funding deal and not do something on the order of the national emergency that Trump is telegraphing he's going to do. It's a...
But is anybody upset that they're using our tax dollars and Mexico's not paying for it and the new NAFTA agreement is not paying for the wall? It was great on the campaign trail. We're going to build a wall and Mexico's going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Sounded good.
You could argue that through the strictures of NAFTA, the incremental benefit to the United States, which is arguable, but it's an argument to be made, they're de facto paying for it. They're paying for it through the back door rather than writing a check through the front door. And I mean, the money thing here, too. Democrats are fiscal conservatives and strict constructionists all of a sudden.
They are.
Right.
They've had a quick change of heart, Dan.
The money, $4 trillion annual budget. This is a two-party system that has piled up $105 trillion in debt when you include unfunded welfare state liabilities. And now, hey, we want to take a scalpel to funding levels at the border. Come on. As I said, can we just strip away the Pollyannish nonsense and have a honest conversation about what the real dynamics are here? Johnny on the West Side.
Good morning.
Morning.
I don't know why the Democrats fight this wall, because when they turn it into Venezuela, they can keep the people from leaving.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Thanks for the call, Johnny. Yeah, it's a wall East Germany style, exactly. Bruno in Naperville.
Yeah, two things. One, about her, there's nothing like the Second Amendment, though, protecting people trying to come over this border illegally. So
the analogy that you made really isn't a good one. And the other thing, of course, is that if they were to try that, there's probably 10 or 25 million Americans who would shoot back to prevent it from happening. So,
Thanks for the call, Bruno. Tom in Deer Park.
Dan, good morning. You laid out a couple of the brighter minds than mine that I mentioned to your screener, including David French, Jonah Goldberg. Certainly brighter minds than mine, as I'm no expert, but did a lot of reading. Ilya Shapiro, Ilya Soman, all think that it's not only unconstitutional but possibly illegal. But put that aside for a second. For Mitch McConnell to go on the floor and back this, nobody knows better than Mitch McConnell that this is not going to fly and that it's going to go to the courts. So shame on him, first of all, for acquiescing to Trump and Trumpism and not doing what a branch of government is supposed to do and check the executive. And second of all, for the rest of us that are just out here on our radios and televisions that really work in 10, 12-hour days and taking care of their kids, we're looking for bright commentary and don't have time to read National Review and Reason and Cato and all that. And there's definitely two sides to it, and you do cover both. But I want to say one thing, and I appreciate you taking my call. The majority of talk radio doesn't do what you guys do on your station, and they're in the tank for the president just as much. I find it very disappointing, and thank you for doing your show.
Thanks, Tom. So here's the thing. 1976 National Emergencies Act gives presidents sweeping authority. This is from Jonathan Turley, law professor, George Washington. Sweeping authority, including an express allowance to declare an immigration emergency to deal with, quote, an influx of aliens which either is of such magnitude or exhibits such other characteristics that effective administration of the immigration laws of the United States is beyond the existing capabilities of immigration authorities in the affected area or areas. Well, based on those crime stats alone, based on the number of people in this country illegally, based on
the wait time to see an immigration judge. I mean, you have to wait 2 to 3 months. That would clarify as an emergency.
Yeah, based on the, I'm here with my friends and I demand entry caravans. Boy, I think that fits in. Here's the other thing about it. Congress has oversight over the emergency declaration. They can vote to overturn the emergency declaration, and the president can veto it, and then they can override his veto with 2/3 majority. So there is a sort of due process. There is a due process protocol here with respect to these declarations, animated by federal statute, involves the right of Congress to engage and the right of the president to engage after Congress has, just as any other piece of legislation. So I don't find the unconstitutional, much less illegal, arguments particularly compelling. Randy in Sandwich.
All right, to answer Amy's question real quick, Mexico is going to be paying for the wall. It's going to be through El Chapo's money. Ted Cruz is working on it.
Oh, come on. So silly.
$14 billion, yeah.
But I think what we need to do here is we need to look what President Trump is saying, and then we can build this timeline and see where this is going to end up. When he went ahead and opened the government and everybody freaked out that he caved and he totally just gave in, I think that's all a plan up until this point and going to lead us to the 2020 election. And here's what it is. So he opens it back up. Everybody freaks out. He said in a couple meetings that it was pointless to even talk to Nancy and Chuck because they don't want to talk. All they want to do is sit there and come up with reasons why they can't do anything to get along in order to be able to get something passed. So then all of a sudden during his last rally, he starts indicating that he possibly could be doing a thing where he's going to declare a national emergency, and he's setting the stage. And that's the key thing right there. What he's saying is, and this is what I think he's doing an excellent job of, before Trump, Democrats would like to whisper off to the side the things that they like to do and they get accomplished, like post abortion after birth. But they don't want to say it out in the public. Well, what Trump is good at doing is he's making them come to the microphone and say exactly what they think. And now that he's going to declare this national emergency, how easy is it going to be for Nancy to stand there and say, I'm okay with sex traffickers coming to this country. I'm okay with drug traffickers coming to this country. Now it's going to embarrass them all the way till 2020. And if he can run on this, he can embarrass them and then have people from like the independents come his way and old-time modern Democrats come his way. And then eventually he will be able to get reelected because of it. That's my theory.
All right, thanks for the call, Randy. Here's the thing. It's interesting, just picking up on what Randy had to say. One thing you're saying was this is going to split the Republican Party because there are many Republicans that don't want him to invoke national emergency powers, Marco Rubio, among others.
Susan Collins.
Oh, right. The usual suspects. There's a couple of ways to look at that. One is to say, oh, there'll be dissension in the ranks of the Republicans. Another way to look at it is, boy, he's positioning himself for 2020 to own the same market space he did in 2016, which is, I don't care about the parties. Oh, some Republicans are mad at me, some Democrats are mad at me. I don't care about the parties. I'm the guy who does or efforts to do what I said I was going to do, and I'll put in the fight to do it against both parties. And that's a pretty good position to be in. So this may get hung up in the courts for a while, but it sets the stage for the discussion framed out nicely by our friend Randy, and also the market position that Trump needs to own to get reelected.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hello, I'm Matthew Hickey from the law office of Matthew J. Hickey. In my 21 years of practice, I've seen a lot, learned a lot, and know who does what best. So, if you have a criminal matter from traffic issues to potential prison time, I'm your guy. If you or a loved one has been hurt, or worse, and you don't want to call a firm whose namesake faces a second federal trial in April, give me a call. My network of attorneys with years of experience and millions recovered will listen, inform, and help you through a difficult time, and are in no way affiliated with any ex-aldermen, soon-to-be federal inmates. You shouldn't have to compromise your principles when you need help. The justice system is designed to intimidate you. I'm here to even that score.
For ethical, informed legal representation, call Matt directly at 312-767-7631. That's 312-767-7631. Or go to his website, MatthewHickeyLaw.com, and send him an email. Remember, the best defense is the best defense attorney.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I was singing in the shower, singing El Solo Mio. Oh, Solo Mio. As I was singing Mio, I sneezed. So I'm drying up, and I sneeze again, and I blow my nose. A whole bunch of stuff comes out. I'm suddenly realizing that I am breathing out of my nose the best I've ever breathed out of my nose in years. I don't think it's a coincidence that all of a sudden now I'm breathing. What has happened in the past year? I'm a hallucination. Little by little every day, if I experience it, I'm happy. I'm sure this has to do with Balance of Nature. I'm sure it does.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 20% off any first preferred order of Balance of Nature and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Let's face it, everyone loves to shop. From my experience of meeting a famous politician in the Hermès store in Paris,
to my unforgettable experience test driving my first 600 horsepower car, in which I said, I'll take it before it even hit 60 miles an hour.
we are pretty sure everyone has at least one unforgettable shopping experience. Hello, we are Carrie and
Ken,
founders of Income Store. Have you ever considered shopping for your next income? And we don't mean your next job. Did you know that you can walk into Income Store's website through a door on the left or a door on the right?
if you're just starting out or you simply have more time than money, you're going to enter our website on the left. If you've got more money than time, then definitely the right door is for you.
If you're looking to increase revenue in your home or business and would like to create a brand new, greatest shopping memory, all you have to do is change where you shop. Check out one of the two doors at IncomeStore.com.
That's IncomeStore.com.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
We're back on the radio and getting bigger than ever.
We're the #1 Lincoln dealer in town.
And Chicagoland's first ever Ford Lincoln Superstore, too.
Folks like our great deals, for sure.
Just yesterday, I got attacked by the paparazzi.
Really?
But I think the groupies are the worst.
Groupies?
All the Highland Park groupies we have.
Sure. Right, Al.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Well, I have groupies.
A rich fantasy life is important.
This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
He'll sign the bill this morning. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
On this vote, the yeas are 300, the nays are 128.
The House joined the Senate, passing that bipartisan compromise to fund the government and prevent a second shutdown, but it doesn't give President Trump nearly the wall funding he wants. So he'll also declare a national emergency at the border to get more money. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave, the president is expected to make the emergency declaration in the Rose Garden this morning. The idea is to transfer money from the Treasury and Defense Departments to secure another $8 billion. The move is sure to spark court challenges. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi cautioned a Democratic president could also declare a national emergency in the future.
The Republicans should have some dismay about the door that they are opening, the threshold they are crossing.
Speaker Pelosi stopped short of threatening a lawsuit, saying Democrats will review their options. Dave.
Rachel, despite the stress of his job, President Trump is said to be in very good overall health, according to his White House doctor. But the president has put on a few extra pounds, now up to 243, which puts him barely into the obese category. His last doctor had urged the president to lose some weight. Secretary of State Pompeo met today with the European Union's top diplomat in Brussels, while Vice President Pence is at a security conference in Germany, the day after he scolded Europeans for not helping the U.S. and hurting Iran after America backed out of the nuclear deal.
The Trump administration says the European government, still part of the Iran nuclear agreement, should join the U.S. and leave the deal. France, the United Kingdom, and Germany have created a special process to help Iran conduct business despite U.S. sanctions.
As Fox's Rich Edson, the latest U.S.-China trade talks are said to be going well. The lead American negotiator says they've made headway on important issues in Beijing amid a trade dispute that includes new tariffs. Now, Chinese media also reports there will be more negotiations in Washington next week. This is Fox News.
Skies are cloudy, 15 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer, good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Jason Van Dyke's wife is demanding answers after her husband was beaten in his cell by other inmates last week.
They put my husband in a setting to be harmed because of the fact that he was a white man who harmed a black gentleman in the line of duty.
Tiffany Van Dyke asking state and federal officials yesterday why her husband was transferred from an Illinois state facility to a federal facility in Connecticut without her knowledge. Chicago police say they've been interviewing two persons of interest connected to the alleged attack on an actor, Jussie Smollett. Their identities have not been revealed. The Tribune now reports both of the men are black. Meantime, authorities are on the record confirming there's currently no evidence to back a local television report that the two men had staged the attack with Smollett, who feared he was being written off the Fox television show. A woman is dead after being struck by a Green Line train in Chicago's West Loop. Police say the incident happened yesterday near West Lake Street. 3 CTA employees were hospitalized because of emotional distress. Chicago mayoral candidate Paul Vallis plans on releasing his first television commercial in the upcoming week. Chicago Symphony Orchestra could be going on strike. Musicians voting this week to authorize a work stoppage if contract negotiations aren't resolved by next month. Patrick Kane, a goal and 2 helpers in the Blackhawks' 8th win in 9 games, 5-2 over the Devils at the United Center. Move over, rest of Big Ten. The Fighting Illini are waking up. They hold off Ohio State 63-56 last night in Columbus. The news service of Peloton, whether it's a monthly challenge to meet your goals, a training program for your next race, or setting a new personal best, the Peloton bike will make you want to show up and keep climbing the live leaderboard year-round. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Looking for ways to save with your Medicare plan? Walgreens is a preferred network pharmacy with many plans nationwide, which could mean lower copays for you. So bring your prescriptions to a Walgreens pharmacy today to start saving. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Walgreens participates as a preferred network pharmacy with United Healthcare, Cigna HealthSpring, and Express Scripts Medicare. For a complete list of available plans, please contact 1-800-MEDICARE. TTY users should call 1-877-486-2048. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or consult www.medicare.gov. Other pharmacies are available in our network.
Napa know-how.
Right now, you can get a $20 prepaid Visa gift card by mail with the purchase of a Napa Legend Premium battery. Its durability and power make it the obvious choice for people who hate getting stranded by a dead car battery. So pretty much everyone. The Napa Legend Premium battery and $20 back. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers. Limit 2 per household while supplies last. Offer ends 2/28/19.
All money managers might seem the same, but while some give their clients cookie-cutter portfolios, Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to your goals and needs. Some only call when they have something to sell. Fisher calls regularly, so you stay informed. And while some advisors are happy to earn commissions whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come from other money managers. So if you're in or nearing retirement, talk with us and find out why investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
Let's face it, everyone loves to shop. From my experience of meeting a famous politician in the Hermès store in Paris,
to my unforgettable experience test driving my first 600 horsepower car, in which I said, "I'll take it," before it even hit 60 miles an hour.
we are pretty sure everyone has at least one unforgettable shopping experience. Hello, we are Carrie and
Ken,
founders of Income Store. Have you ever considered shopping for your next income? And we don't mean your next job. Did you know that you can walk into Income Store's website through a door on the left or a door on the right?
if you're just starting out or you simply have more time than money, you're going to enter our website on the left. If you've got more money than time, then definitely the right door is for you.
If you're looking to increase revenue in your home or business and would like to create a brand new, greatest shopping memory, all you have to do is change where you shop. Check out one of the two doors at IncomeStore.com.
That's IncomeStore.com.
Peloton is a game-changing indoor cycling bike that brings the energy of live studio classes right to your home anytime you want. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom.
It is 6:07. Let's check the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
In Lyons, Harlem Avenue is closed right now between 39th and Ogden in both directions due to a crash. We see slow traffic on the inbound Kennedy Expressway, central to Lawrence. 22 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound still fine at 20. 190 looks good at the airport. Edens is clear. Inbound Eisenhower. Slow 25th Avenue to 1st Avenue and western to the Burns Circle. 34 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 30. Inbound Stevenson delays start at Harlem. 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 just a little congested approaching the Burge. Bishop Ford, it's 21 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. Northbound Tri-State tied at 290. The other tollways are good. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Steve Williams.
Today, breezy and much colder. Intervals of clouds and sun, high 22. Partly cloudy, very cold tonight, low down to 13. Mostly cloudy for tomorrow with a high near 30. Sunday, cloudy, some snow, 1 to 2 inches possible. High Sunday, 28. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
15 at O'Hare, 20 along the lakefront. Next news at 6:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560 The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Boy, it's really something to watch, isn't it? It is really something to watch, the breathless promotion of Andy McCabe's new book and his forthcoming interview on 60 Minutes this weekend with Scott Pelley.
Oh, the slow rollout of dribs and drabs of information?
No, that's not the problem. The problem is they're taking what he has to say as gospel and not adding the contextual information for the viewer, not presenting the institutional knowledge they have, that Andy McCabe was fired as the deputy director for lying.
Yeah.
He was fired for lying.
Fired for lying and giving reporters information, leaking information, which is something he should not be doing.
And
he got canned for it.
So, I mean, so Scott Pelley and all of the others that are running around talking in hushed tones about these important revelations of McCabe's as reflective on the president rather on McCabe and his colleagues and their conduct. Counterintelligence investigation of the president, the allegations of concern about anything impeding a Russian collusion investigation that 2 years in has turned up donut. It's obscene. Or is somebody want to argue, and maybe this should be asked, is the Inspector General, DOJ Inspector General Horowitz, who's testified before Congress. I haven't heard anyone impugn his integrity. No one. It's his report that was the basis for McCabe's termination. So just remember that, because you're not going to hear from Scott Pelley or any of the other mouth breathers on CBS. And I'm sure the D.C. press corps will follow suit because of the sensational quality of the allegations. Just remember that about Andy McCabe when you hear this.
I was speaking to the man who had just run for the presidency and won the election for the presidency, and who might have done so with the aid of the government of Russia, our most formidable adversary on the world stage. And that was something that troubled me greatly.
How long was it after that you decided to start the obstruction of justice and counterintelligence investigations involving the president?
I think the next day I met with the team investigating the Russia cases, and I asked the team to go back and conduct an assessment to determine where are we with these efforts and what steps do we need to take going forward. I was very concerned that I was able to put the Russia case on absolutely solid ground in an indelible fashion, that were I removed quickly or reassigned or fired, that the case could not be closed or vanish in the night without a trace. I wanted to make sure that our case was on solid ground, and if somebody came in behind me and closed it and tried to walk away from it, they would not be able to do that without creating a record of why they'd made that decision.
And it's funny because I have yet to hear anybody, including those who despise President Trump, those fired by President Trump or fired by superiors at justice, as McCabe was, I have no one to allege that anything was done at any time to impede their investigation. Now, McCabe talks about the president trying to convince him that people were very supportive of his firing of Comey, and McCabe saying, no, there are people in the FBI that are crying over his termination. Well, so what? So some people liked him and some people didn't. In a big organization, hardly a surprise
And he
or
said
a controversy.
that he couldn't tell the president that because he was alarmed.
Yeah.
He didn't want to upset him.
And here's the other big reveal from McCabe. He confirms, again, his credibility notwithstanding, confirms this 25th Amendment action against the president was discussed. The idea of wiring up soon-to-be former Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein was a real thing, not a joke.
Yeah, it wasn't a joke.
And that they were sort of trying to handicap the cabinet in terms of how many votes they might have to remove the president. For what? What we'll see.
They said he's not mentally sound, and mentally fit to hold office.
We'll see if Scott Pelley provides it when the full interview airs on Sunday. But based on what evidence? What evidence would put you in a position other than, what evidence?
They fired Comey, so they wanted to get back him. So there is no evidence. They're going to drum up evidence.
Well, right. So is this is political ideology being advanced, not evidence-driven concern for the country.
Well,
is the point.
Vice President Mike Pence spoke with MSNBC and talked about the 25th. But you want to play your audio?
Well, McCabe's allegation.
Okay.
There was a discussion underway about removing the President of the United States.
They were counting noses. They were not asking cabinet members whether they would vote for or against removing the president, but they were speculating this person would be with us, that person would not be, and they were counting noses in that effort.
And this was not perceived to be a joke.
This was not perceived to be a joke. It was also said at a previous time that the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, offered to wear a wire into the White House to record potentially incriminating conversations with the president. A statement was released after that was never serious, it was sarcastic, etc. McCabe, in our interview, says no. It came up more than once, and it was so serious that he took it to the lawyers at the FBI to discuss it.
And yesterday, Rosenstein responded saying McCabe's statement is, quote, factually incorrect, unquote, and reminding the press corps, what I did, that McCabe was fired for lying.
Well, one person that would have to be a part of the conversation if they were going to try and get President Trump on the 25th Amendment would be Vice President Mike Pence.
I never heard of it. I never heard of any discussion of the 25th Amendment, and frankly, I find any suggestion of it to be absurd. This president has been producing for the American people, and I couldn't be more proud to stand with him. And the words or the writings of a disgrace.
Yeah, but the allegation is not that they talked to Pence or any other cabinet official. The allegation is they did some internal handicapping.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
They were seeing who was with them, the yays and the nays.
What does this say about, again, the senior leadership of the FBI and DOJ, right up to present day? So you had an acting director, a deputy director, and an acting director before Wray's installed in McCabe, fired. Him and Rosenstein, who's been the acting AG for the purposes of the Russian collusion investigation, and after the Sessions resignation, however you want to describe it, before Bill Barr is installed, which he's been confirmed now, so that should happen shortly. But I mean, these guys, they are offering two entirely different accounts of this aspect of their working relationship and what they were doing vis-a-vis the President of the United States. And the problem we're supposed to focus on, or the person we're supposed to focus on, is President Trump. I say again, how about the fifth column action going on at Justice and in the FBI? I mean, Andy McCabe's new book, you seen this? His new book is entitled The Threat.
The Threats.
A subtitle, How the FBI Protects America in the Age of Terror and Trump, as if terror and Trump are synonyms. This is so disgraceful. I mean, President Trump is right to call McCabe a disgrace to our country. It's unsubstantiated. His statements run into conflict with Comey. His statements run into conflict with Rosenstein. Who are you to believe among these guys, if any of them? But the president is the problem. I'll tell you, Kim Strassel had a good write-up on Bill Barr in the Wall Street Journal, the hot mess that he's inheriting. Strassel suggests it's Barr's opening. For the first time in this presidency, the Justice Department will have a leader who is apart from the Russia stink, neither accused of collusion nor obsessed with finding it. And she suggests it's an opportunity to reset the deck and also attempt to reestablish the credibility of these important agencies, writing, whether the Justice Department and FBI's most controversial actions were appropriate, something that should be determined and addressed. Is it acceptable for the FBI to use opposition research as an excuse to surveil a political campaign, to use back channels to stay in touch with sources it fired, to open counterintel investigations into political figures, to actively hide those investigations from congressional overseers, to hold meetings about removing presidents? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, Americans deserve to know that this is the brave new world they live in. Absolutely. Absolutely, those questions should be asked, and the answer should be sought by Bill Barr and publicized.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hey, like it or not, it's cold and flu season in Chicago. And just look around the office. People are coughing, sneezing, wheezing, sniffling. Please use a Kleenex. And if you want to avoid getting sick, then you know that you need to give your immune system a boost. And a great way to do that is with fruits and veggies from Balance of Nature. Look, we're all busy. A lot of us eat fast food, and we don't have enough time to get enough fruits and veggies in our diet. And that's where Balance of Nature comes in. 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies in a capsule to boost your immune system all winter long. You've heard the testimonials on this, Aaron. I could tell you they are 100% real. I've spent time with Dr. Douglas Howard, his wife and son, and they're the founder and creator of Balance of Nature. They showed me the emails. They played the voicemails from real people who use Balance of Nature to get healthier and stay healthy, and that should be you. Don't wait another day. Try it now before you get sick. You can try, and also you can get 35% off when you use the promo code Chicago. Here's what you do. Go to balanceofnature.com, type in Chicago in that promo code, and voila, 35% off your order. Or call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of your #1 home mortgage company, Townstone Financial. You asked for it and we brought it back. We once again can offer a 1% down payment program, and you only need a 620 credit score to qualify. That means you don't need a lot of money or perfect credit to buy a house. Restrictions apply. Second, do you want to purchase a home but have too much student loan debt? Then listen closely. We have a non-occupying co-borrow program that allows a parent or a friend to co-sign the mortgage with you, which lets us use their income to help you qualify for a home purchase. It doesn't matter if you're searching for a jumbo mortgage, FHA, VA, or even a reverse mortgage. I guarantee nobody's going to beat Townstone's interest rates and low closing costs, and I own the company. So give us a call now at 312-896-2110. Remember, nobody values your home purchase and refinance business more than Townstone. That's 312-896-2110, or go to townstone.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
Hey, if you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, then dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, and your dental health. Hey, Sean Hannity here. So what are you waiting for? Find out now if implants are for you. Successful implants don't come from an implant factory. Skill, treatment, installation, those are the main differences for successful lifelong implants. That's why you need to see Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Neruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants themselves. You need the experience, the skill, and honesty that over 25 years of dental implants brings, and you're going to be happy with your implant. It's not a mass production procedure because everyone is different. And Dr. Neruzzi wants to talk to you about dental implants today.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics at 630-232-7400. They're online at implantsforme.com.
When you hire a new employee,
do you really know who you're hiring? What if you could do thorough research on potential employees and avoid future HR conflicts and trouble? It may sound like a daunting task, but with ETS Intelligence LLC, it's easy to get all the info on a potential hire. ETS is one of the leading private detective and security agencies in the U.S. Their client roster includes major law firms, insurance companies, high net worth individuals, and more. Our world can be a dangerous place to live and do business in. ETS Intelligence makes you safe by specializing in complex and high-tech investigations, background checks, computer forensics, surveillance, forensic accounting, and more. Let ETS Intelligence be the vetting intelligence agency for your company or business. They also provide personal security services. ETS Intelligence LLC, owned and operated by experienced active duty law enforcement. Call toll-free 800-230-7429. 800-230-7429. The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. Chicago is a big city, 234 square miles. We have 50 aldermen to watch over our neighborhood, but only one police superintendent. As mayor, I will add 3 more superintendents and form separate districts for them to be responsible for and bringing top management to the police force closer to our citizens.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor.
Safety. It's so important at your industrial facility. You need to keep your personnel safe and meet OSHA requirements. One problem with your ladders, platforms, or safety guards, and you could be facing costly fines. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to keep your employees safe.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a business owner, I realize the importance of keeping my employees safe, and I'm here to offer my expertise. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor uniquely equipped to design, fabricate, and install safety equipment, including walkways, handrails, stairways, and machinery guards. Our Vans Industrial team can inspect existing systems, engineer solutions, fabricate quality goods, and install them with trained pros, all making a safer environment for your employees.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, it's time for another lesson in AOC-nomics.
Hey, can you believe what she did?
Hashtag Maba, make Alexandria bartender again. She's not going to be an Amazon employee because Amazon has decided to scrap their New York City headquarters. And AOC
She had a party yesterday.
couldn't have been happier about it.
We were subsidizing those jobs. So for the city was paying for those jobs. So frankly, if we were willing to give Amazon if we're willing to give away $3 billion for this deal, we could invest those $3 billion in our district ourselves if we wanted to. We could hire out more teachers. We can fix our subways. We can put a lot of people to work for that money if we wanted to.
Not 25,000 people there, honey.
Well, here's the other thing, just sort of the first principle.
Clueless.
Okay, so, and I'm not for the subsidies and that sort of crony capitalism with respect to Amazon, so it's not a defense of that. But this idea of no subsidies for private sector jobs, but a guarantee of a federal government job for every American who wants one, and in addition, subsidies for people who don't. So I'm a little unclear about Ocasio-Cortez's position on government incentives or taxpayer funding, taxpayer underwriting of jobs, or taxpayer underwriting of people who don't want jobs.
I don't think she understands it either. One person who was surprised, of course, was Governor Cuomo and Mayor Bill de Blasio.
Instead of an actual dialogue to try and resolve those issues, we get a call this morning saying we're taking our ball and we're going home. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, they were blindsided. They weren't part of the conversation. They were left out. But you know what?
Andrew Cuomo's
Jeff
lying.
Bezos.
Andrew Cuomo's lying.
Why?
Daily News reporting Thursday, Cuomo and a group of labor unions met with Amazon earlier in the week to try and salvage the deal. But when the company refused to relent on its opposition to unions being formed among its employees, and the employees tasked with building the new facilities it planned to inhabit, it put Cuomo and other politicians in a, quote, tricky spot. The real story here is not Ocasio-Cortez. The real story here is Cuomo and the unions trying to hold up Amazon, and they said, go pound sand.
They did. And instead, now, don't anyone get excited. They're not coming to Chicago.
Well, of course not.
Mayor Emanuel last week said that he was hoping, and he was trying to get in with them again to bring their headquarters here. What they're going to do is they're going to expand their locations in Nashville and in Northern Virginia. So we're not going to go through this whole rigmarole again to see if we can have Amazon here.
On another matter of federal funds, taxpayer dollars being used to support those investments that Ocasio-Cortez likes to talk about, you know, like the $77 billion high-speed bullet train that has been scrapped in California. It's supposed to go from L.A. to
San Francisco.
San Francisco, yeah.
And then Sacramento to San Diego or something, too.
Trump wants the money back that the federal government provided.
He tweeted that out to the governor of California. We wanted cash back.
They owe the federal government $3.5 billion. We want the money back. Whole project is a quote-unquote green disaster. I love it. Well done, Mr. President. Ken in Lombard, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I am in agreement that we do not want to make carve-outs for specific entities in the private sector that in the long run kick back money to these politicians that provided them with these favors.
Yeah.
But in the big picture of things, where this Ms. AOC word don't get, is that you want to create an environment that all people are level at the table, and then everybody comes out with the people have figured out what they want, not what's getting rammed down their throat. And she just doesn't get it.
She doesn't get it. She doesn't want to get it. She's in the business of ramming things down people's throats, and that's all the Democrat socialists. Exactly right, Ken.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
What should Jussie Smollett's next role be? I've got a couple ideas, but we'll take your suggestions as well at 6:36.
And later, Jason Van Dyke's wife pleads for him to be safe in prison. We'll play it for you. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Getting chilly out there, 12 degrees. President Trump poised to declare an emergency at the U.S.-Mexico border. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell made the announcement after talking with the president yesterday.
And I've indicated to him that I'm going to support the national emergency declaration.
In a statement, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says the president will take the executive action around 9 a.m. this morning, Chicago time, to make a national security and humanitarian crisis at the border plea after signing a bill that will keep the government open. Parts of California may find some relief with lighter rain today after powerful storms triggered mudslides and massive flooding.
The West Coast gets a little bit of a break after your deluge over the last couple of days. Palm Springs, by the way, third rainiest day in history yesterday, over 3.5 inches of rain. And for Palm Springs, that's a big deal.
Meteorologist Bill Cairns, former FBI Director Andy McCabe, is speaking out about his time on the job after President Trump took office. In a CBS 60 Minutes interview, he says he ordered an obstruction probe into Trump over any possible Russian collusion.
I wanted to make sure that our case was on solid ground, and if somebody came in behind me and closed it and tried to walk away from it, they would not be able to do that without creating a record of why they'd made that decision.
Vice President Mike Pence disputed the idea that any issues were discussed. He did so during a NATO event in Poland.
I never heard of any discussion of the 25th Amendment, and frankly, I find any suggestion of it to be absurd.
He gave the interview to help promote the release of his new book about Trump, Andy McCabe. Jason Van Dyke's wife is demanding answers after her husband was beaten in his cell by other inmates last week. Students at a school in northwest Indiana miss more than 2 weeks of classes because of problems with the school's aging boiler system. It left the building without heat. The problem was at Theodore Roosevelt College and Career Academy. More than 550 students had to be moved to the Gary area's Career Center instead. Lost instruction time will be made up after school and possibly on Saturdays. Mayor of Joliet is ticked off this morning because the I-80 bridge over the Des Plaines River, something he knows very intimately, is structurally unsound. He says he may be forced to take action. Joliet Mayor Bob Oudekirk on Thursday said he would take the safety measures needed if state and federal officials fail to improve the bridge's serious structural weaknesses. IDOT has already found that bridge to be structurally deficient, but says plans are in place to begin addressing structural issues and claims that, for now, the bridge is safe. Patrick Kane and the Hawks down the Devils at the UC 5-2. That's 8 wins in 9 games. The news a service of Peloton, live studio classes in the comfort of your own home. Peloton is a game-changing indoor cycling bike that brings the energy of live studio classes right to your home anytime you want. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom. 6:34 is our time, and we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Do you own or run a thriving business in the Chicagoland area? Have you overcome obstacles to make your business what it is today? If that's your business, then AM 560 wants to tell your story on the AM 560 Business Tour, presented by Signature Bank. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson will be broadcasting live from businesses all around Chicagoland, telling success stories of thriving, successful businesses. Hey, if that's you, tell us about it. Visit 560theanswer.com/business and submit your information. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Ament, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman & Ament and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Dassman & Ament needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, listen. Did you hear that? That's the sound of silence, the absent sound of your loved one's laugh, the phone that never rings, the void left because you convinced yourself their addiction was under control. Don't let the shame of addiction prevent you from addressing their disease. USA Addiction knows that the first step is the hardest. That's why they help guide you through the journey to recover with care and compassion. Their nationally certified family recovery coaches lead you every step of the way, from a free initial conversation to planning an intervention to finding the best facility that will save your loved one's life. Go to freeaddictionbook.com and enter your email to their confidential portal. You'll receive their free guide to family addiction and intervention and free consultation. And that's freeaddictionbook.com for a real solution to prevent that heartache. Now is the time to take action. USA Addiction, helping Americans one step at a time.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
6:37 is our time. In the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Inbound Eden's traffic's heavy. Cicero to Junction. It's 22 minutes. Like Cook to Montrose. Outbound 19. Inbound Kennedy, 31 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 11 from Montrose. 8 in the Express. Outbound 22 minutes. Downtown to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower, 46 minutes. 390 to downtown. Outbound 30. Stevenson, 43 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 35. Ryan is 25 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 16 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 421. Northbound Tri-State heavy from the Reagan tollway to the Eisenhower. The other tollways are good. Northwest Indiana looks fine. In Lyons, Harlem has reopened between Pershing and Ogden for crash. Metra is offering free rides this weekend. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
And Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, a breezy day ahead. Quite a bit colder today. Clouds and sunshine mixed, a high of 22. Currently 12 officially at O'Hare. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer
That's enough. Put down the mic.
on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Will Jussie Smollett's Empire spinoff be picked up before he is? Chicago police still treating him as a victim in the alleged attack, but it seems like that is not going to be sustainable for much longer.
Well, we found out right now that he and two Nigerian brothers, one who was an extra on Empire, are still being questioned at 51st and Wentworth because they're investigating an allegation that this was staged because Jussie Smollett's character was about to be written off of Empire.
Well, the attorney for the two brothers suggests that they could be charged as soon as today. And the interesting thing would be, well, what will they be charged for? Will they be charged for attacking Jussie Smollett, or are they going to be charged with, I don't know, lying, I guess, being party to a conspiracy to file a false police report?
Well, the two Nigerians left on the day of the purported attack. They flew back to Nigeria. They came back to O'Hare on Wednesday, and that's when they were picked up by Chicago police. They also raided their apartment, and in their apartment they found, bleach, which everybody has. Normal people have bleach in their house if they do laundry. A wallet with stamps, a magazine that may be linked to a threatening letter that was sent to Jussie Smollett on the set of Empire. There are computers, and they're looking for other things like pressable string that was used.
Well, right.
In the attack.
So I guess it's possible that these two brothers were trying to hold up Jussie Smollett for some reason, and they, used the race stuff and the anti-gay stuff and the Trump stuff as their cover story, and Smollett's not party to it. And that's how they were able to recognize Jussie from across the street at 2 a.m. in the morning.
And yell, "Hey, Empire guy."
Right, because at least one of them knew him or certainly had enough interactions with him to know who he was. So that's one possibility, I guess, if you still want to hold out hope that Jussie Smollett is an innocent party here. But the story that's being reported by ABC and CBS and others with their respective multiple unnamed sources is that this was a staged attack that included Smollett, and the purpose was to prevent him from being written off the show.
Here's their attorney.
The people of interest, my clients, they do know Jussie. They have worked with him on Empire. My preliminary investigations show that on set, it's very tight. They're all very cordial with each other. So they're baffled why they are people of interest.
And the brothers are, some publications have identified them. They're brothers. Yes, they both went to Lakeview. They live in Wrigleyville, Lakeview High School.
Right.
They have to charge them or release them by 5:45 p.m. tonight because that's the 48-hour, mandated custody time.
Right.
So
both have some
records. Yeah,
criminal activity in their background. The brother who appeared in Empire as an extra was charged with attempted murder in Cook County in 2011. He pled down to aggravated battery. His brother charged with DUI near their home in 2015 when he was 21 years old. No other arrests in the city since 2014, according to Chicago police records. The outcome of the DUI case not immediately available. So, that doesn't necessarily go to them being inveterate criminals or something. I just don't know how. Should hasten to add, the Empire folks said, "Oh no, we weren't writing Jussie Smollett off the show."
Yeah, that's what they said in a tweet yesterday, but I'm not buying that. The show basically is going to be going away soon. Everybody who works on that show that has spoken said, yeah, it's nearing its end anyway. But the fact that this alleged victim is being so, just lauded over by Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, everyone, even ABC couldn't stop themselves from, this poor guy.
Jussie Smollett, he's answering questions about his story for the first time.
He really is, George. And the incident has sparked both an outpouring of support as well as questions about what happened that night on a cold Chicago street. Jussie was very passionate in his account, detailing the racist and homophobic words he says his attackers used, words that we cannot broadcast.
Yeah, there's also this. Smollett is reportedly employed the same PR firm, Sunshine Sachs, to help him manage the comms here that Harvey Weinstein used after he was charged with all of the things that he was charged with doing.
But I watched that interview again.
But I mean, this just prompts another question. Well, why does the alleged victim of an alleged hate crime need a PR firm?
Well, because of this. Because he's being accused of staging.
Well, now
an
he
attack on
does.
himself
Yeah, right.
Because of this. But, you know, he's on a lot of this. And if this does turn out to be true that this attack was staged, he should never have gone on ABC News and made the comments. I mean, he said, I want young gay men who are watching this at home to learn to fight back.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so pathetic. And you could tell if you're watching the interview, his eyes were shifting. He was not, I just did not believe that he was telling the truth. And then he talked about President Trump, because this is political. And why is this political? Because he alleges that the two people that did this to him said, this is MAGA country. And he will not refer to President Trump as President Trump, just a number.
I come really, really hard against 45. I come really, really hard against his administration. And I don't hold my tongue.
Yeah. Okay. What does that have to? I mean, I'm not sure what that has to do with anything. But it does, right.
It speaks to the fact that he does not like President Trump so much, Stan, that he can't use his name. He's just a number.
Well, I understand. And that would also speak to sort of introducing that as part of the plot line in this pilot that Jesse Smollett seems to have put together.
I mean, where do you think they went to rehearse this? Do you think they, just rehearsed it a half hour before, or maybe on the set of Empire? Who came up with this scheme? Like, what are we going to do? All right, you be the one that puts the clothing line around my neck, and then I'll pretend it's a noose. And then I'll go on Good Morning America and say that I just looked up and the noose was around my neck, but then later claimed that I had a rope burn on my neck. See, his story wasn't consistent when I was watching it.
No, he was not consistent. And by the way, you have friends on the Chicago Police Force, so I mean, just internally, the chatter, there's nobody that you can find who has believed his story from the get-go.
No. And it doesn't matter what color or gender you are. No, anyone who's a cop knows that this is a bunch of bull jive. And one thing that I love is that there is an Ace Hardware in Wrigleyville, right near where these guys live, near Sheridan and Byron. And I called over there because I know that I used to live in that area. And I'm telling you, they didn't confirm or deny that the clothing line was purchased there. Which would make sense because it's right around the corner from where they live.
So if this Jussie spinoff doesn't get picked up, what should he do with his life?
312-642-5600 is turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. And could he be charged with something more than filing a false police report? Could he be charged with a hate crime because he's stirred up so much hate?
Charged with a hate crime on himself?
Yeah.
I mean, charged him with bad writing? I don't know. I understand, of course, if you're going to make up a story, you might as well turn out to be the hero in it.
Did he pay these two Nigerian brothers to do this? I mean, we don't know. There's so many questions that have to be answered. And he's got to start singing like a bird because those guys have been there again. They have to release them by 5:45 p.m. tonight. Release them or charge them. And Jussie did not show up for his first interview yesterday morning, but they did reach him, and he's at, was told, 51st and Wentworth, still talking to police.
Well, this is going to come to a head one way or the other,
Yes, it will.
And we'll see what Chicago police do and where the facts lead them to go. One thought, since he's so virulently anti-Trump.
Yeah. No, sorry, excuse me, it's 45.
He and Brian Williams could co-host a show on MSNBC.
Oh.
They're both great storytellers, particularly stories that are fictional where they're the hero. I think it'd be a good team. Dave in Downers Grove.
Yeah, good morning, Dan and Amy. Hey, I want to know, how did two Nigerian brothers get money to go back and forth to Nigeria? Maybe they should look for where the money came from. And also, if two guys from Chicago beat this guy up in a polar vortex, he wouldn't have walked away. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Dave. By the way, also, the two Nigerian brothers.
Yes, went to Lakeview, and then they played football at Quincy University.
Yeah. If they were in a fight with Jussie.
Look at these guys. They would kick him from here to Toledo.
They are beasts. these guys. These are big dudes.
Yeah.
If they got in a real fight, like they were actually targeting Jussie and he's innocent, there wouldn't be anything left of Jussie such that you would need dental records to identify him. Let me just tell you. So that whole thing just doesn't wash. One of them would have made him a stain on the road. The two of them together?
I mean, he would be alive.
He fought back, and then they ran away.
He fought back. This guy,
Take
this
a look
big
at
dude.
Those guys look like Tiny Lister, except they're bigger.
Huge. Well, yeah. Again, they've both got full rides to Quincy University to play football. They're football players. They're in shape. They're ripped.
Yeah.
Talk about a 4-pack. They got an 8-pack. Hey.
Boy, oh boy.
This is getting better.
I sure
by the
hope
second.
this doesn't turn out where there's a lot of egg on the face of Hollywood elites and Democrat Pauls, and well, golly, that would just be terrible.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. New York City is reeling from Amazon's decision to not build its second headquarters in New York. And federal regulators give a thumbs down to a Kentucky coal mine. Those stories next.
Hi, we're here with Alexander Green, 4-time best-selling author and chief investment strategist of the Oxford Club. Alex is a stock-picking legend. He calls 6 of the best stocks of the past 20 years, including Apple, Intuitive Surgical, Netflix, Varian, Amazon, and Celgene. Now, Alex, I understand you're targeting a new stock.
Yes, it's a cutting-edge tech company making blockbuster deals. I'm talking about $450 million with Nokia, $395 million with Microsoft, and a $29.2 billion deal with Apple. The company is set to create 50,000 new jobs right here in America, and Donald Trump himself even calls what they're doing the 8th wonder of the world. Yet you've likely never even heard of it because this $3 stock trades under a secret name.
Alex just got on stage in front of a packed crowd to talk about this secret stock, and you can see his free presentation at onestockretirement.com. Don't wait on this. We expect the stock to make big national news in March. Go to onestockretirement.com now.
The stunning move by Amazon to pull out of Queens, New York is drawing mixed reactions from New Yorkers. Radical Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez cheered the move as a victory over corporate greed, but local businesses said the loss of 25,000 jobs made Thursday a sad day for New York City. A new government report critical of student loan providers and the regulators who oversee them. The Department of Education says borrowers weren't getting the guidance and protection they deserve in paying off college loans. A federal utility board has voted to close a coal-fired plant supported by President Trump. That decision could put several hundred miners out of work in Kentucky. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Another year has come and gone, and if you're a business owner and still haven't done anything about your company's network and computer system, then listen closely. You and your employees suffer every time something goes wrong with your network, and in most cases, it can take days to hire an IT person to fix it. Maybe you've been lucky and everything's running fine, but how long will that last? Whether you've experienced technical trouble or not, when you do, it costs your company money. But it doesn't have to. Don't wait for a crisis. Turnkey IT can help make 2019 the year you've prepared for anything technology throws at you. So get on it. For a limited time, get free lunch for the decision makers of your company. When you have Turnkey, do a complimentary network audit of your systems. Now, even if you have a current IT guy, a second opinion never hurt. Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
The most popular days to get engaged are Christmas, New Year's, and Valentine's Day. And guys, finding the perfect wedding venue can be harder to figure out than the color and quality of the perfect diamond. With love in the air, Avante Banquets is here to help you plan the wedding of your dreams for the party of a lifetime at a price right for you. Avante Banquets is part of the family-owned Chicago Prime Restaurants, with a picturesque location opened just last year near Barrington, providing fine American dining and a timeless experience. Avante is an exceptional space for your wedding or corporate events and fundraisers, for an intimate gathering, or parties of 500 or more. The calendar is filling up, so secure your date today at AvanteBanquets.com. That's AVANTE Banquets.com. With wedding packages starting at just $39 a person. Experience exceptional hospitality with the Calcunos family at Avante Banquets, because classic never goes out of style. AvanteBanquets.com. AvanteBanquets.com.
Balance of Nature's fruit and veggie capsules contain 100% fine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind, and are the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. You might ask, how can over 10 servings of 31 different fruits and vegetables fit into 6 vegetarian capsules? Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to remove the water, leaving only the whole food. We don't use any heat, air, or light drying methods that damage nutrients. Our cold vacuum technology maintains 99% of the fresh fruits and vegetables' original nutritional value. Along with diet and exercise, Mother Nature provides fruits and vegetables to help us maintain good health.
To order, go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751 and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hello, I'm Matthew Hickey from the law office of Matthew J. Hickey. In my 21 years of practice, I've seen a lot, learned a lot, and know who does what best. So, if you have a criminal matter from traffic issues to potential prison time, I'm your guy. If you or a loved one has been hurt, or worse, and you don't want to call a firm whose namesake faces a second federal trial in April, give me a call. My network of attorneys with years of experience and millions recovered will listen, inform, and help you through a difficult time, and are in no way affiliated with any ex-aldermen, soon-to-be federal inmates. You shouldn't have to compromise your principles when you need help. The justice system is designed to intimidate you. I'm here to even that score.
For ethical, informed legal representation, call Matt directly at 312-767-7631. That's 312-767-7631. Or go to his website, MatthewHickeyLaw.com, and send him an email. Remember, the best defense is the best defense attorney.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and you'll have to wait until spring to get the outside of your house painted, but winter, perfect opportunity to get your interior painted. You know, people walk into my kitchen and ask, Amy, did you get new cabinets? No, I save myself thousands of dollars by simply having them painted by the experts at CertaPro Painters. So cross the first project off your 2019 to-do list. CertaPro Painters will ensure a beautiful transformation of your home. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered in-home with a color consultation or online with their color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
So, remember when Jussie Smollett said this about his attackers?
As I was crossing the intersection, I heard Empire. And I don't answer to Empire. My name ain't Empire. And I didn't answer. I kept walking, and then I heard Empire. So I turned around and I said, did you just say to me? And I see the attacker masked, and he said, this MAGA country punches me right in the face. So I punched his back. And then we started tussling. You know, it was very icy. And we ended up tussling by the stairs. Fighting. There was a second person involved who was kicking me in my back. And then it just stopped. And they ran off. And I saw where they are.
I posted the picture on Twitter of the two guys who are persons of interest who Jussie says are the ones who attacked him, the silhouettes that were caught on that video camera.
Yeah.
You hear what you just said. One of them punched me, and then I punched back, and then the other was kicking me, and then they ran away. You look at those two guys and Jussie, and you tell me if you believe that story. Okay? I'm just going to leave it there. Yeah. If one of those guys punched Jussie, he would no longer be featuring anything above his neck. Okay?
Yeah, and he'd have a concussion, and he'd be in a coma, probably.
Oh, good grief. Richard on the north side.
I just wonder when European Americans, Caucasian Americans are going to start doing actions and protest marches and that kind of stuff. Because the three of us right now, we are not black people or Hispanic or anything, and none of us have any ill will, any kind of prejudice, any kind of dislike for people who are not white. In fact, when you see a good person who's a good person, a fine person who's a fine person, none of us, the three of us who are talking right now, none of us have any animosity. And we need to start saying, hey, quit calling me a nasty you-know-what, because I'm white. This is bull. We need to stand up and fight. And that means not physically and all that crap, but with actions and start doing what they do on the left. And they'll go away within a short time.
All right, thanks,
anyway,
Richard.
that's what I got to say.
Thanks, appreciate the call.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Matt Kuchar defends screwing L2 Khan. We'll take that up at 7:07.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Cook County Republicans endorsing Willie Wilson. Van Dyke's wife demands answers after her husband is attacked in prison. A South Elgin student charged with throwing bleach on another student. Blackhawks beat the Devils. Illinois topped Ohio State in a breezy and colder day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
It's the next episode in the border drama. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump this morning will sign the bipartisan compromise bill that keeps the government open. But since it only provides about a quarter of the money he wants for a wall, he'll start the process to find funding on his own.
He's prepared to sign the bill. He will also be issuing a national emergency declaration at the same time.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, that move could be challenged in court. Democrats are upset.
House Judiciary Committee Chairman Gerald Nadler says Congress could try a resolution to override executive action.
Because this is a terrible power grab, unprecedented in American history, and would really upset the separation of powers.
Several Republicans have also expressed concerns and worry a precedent could allow a Democratic president to use executive action on any issue they declare to be a national emergency. On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Civil liberties groups are taking the Trump administration to court, trying to stop it from sending asylum seekers back to Mexico while their claims are processed in U.S. courts. A Mexican official tells AP 13 kids were sent to Tijuana this week, returned to their families after making asylum claims. There's optimism coming out of Beijing after the latest round of U.S.-China trade talks. Fox's Simon Owen, monitoring live from London.
Dave, as the clock ticks toward a deadline of March 2nd, when the U.S. is due to impose increased tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese imports, U.S. lead negotiator Robert Lighthizer saying progress was made in talks that just ended in Beijing. No word, though, on any details. The White House says there'll be further negotiations next week in Washington and that much work remains to be done. The dispute is focused on Chinese technology ambitions. Dave.
Simon, Facebook may have to pay for privacy issues. The Washington Post reports the Federal Trade Commission's working with the social networking giant over a possible multi-billion-dollar fine. This is Fox News.
Skies are clear, and that is causing temperatures to really dip right now. We're down to 12 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Jason Van Dyke's wife this morning is demanding answers after her husband was beaten in his cell by other inmates last week. Tiffany Van Dyke is asking state and federal officials why her husband was transferred from a safe Illinois site to a federal facility in Connecticut and without her knowledge.
They put my husband in a setting to be harmed because of the fact that he was a white man who harmed a black gentleman in the line of duty.
An attorney for the former police officer says he was attacked within hours of arriving at the new unit. Chicago police say they've been interviewing two persons of interest connected to the alleged attack on actor Jussie Smollett. NBC's Miguel Almaguer has new details.
Police say the two men who actor Jussie Smollett says attacked him are affiliated with his show Empire. Both men, who had earlier been called people of interest, have been questioned by detectives, but are not considered suspects.
Authorities are on the record confirming there's currently no evidence to back an ABC 7 report that the two men had staged the attack with Smollett. Illinois legislators moved quickly Thursday to deliver one of new Democrat Governor J.B. Pritzker's top campaign promises, a major hike in the statewide minimum wage to $15 an hour. That's more than double the pay floor that most of its Midwest neighbors require. Minority Republicans and business leaders argue it will cost jobs in a state where more than 60% of residents live within 40 miles of a state border. Cook County Republicans are backing Willie Wilson in the Chicago mayor's race. The businessman receiving endorsements from County Republican Party Chair Sean Morrison and others. Blackhawks over the Devils 5-2 at the United Center. Chicago's won 8 of their last 9. The news service of Peloton. Live studio classes in the comfort of your own home. Winter or summer, rain or shine, with a Peloton bike, it's always perfect weather to sweat. And with up to 14 live rides a day and over 10,000 more on demand, nothing will get between you and your workout. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Winter stinks. Snow, ice, freezing temperatures, more snow. Escape Chicago and join Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. You'll stay at the Marvel Residences Luxury Resort in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. It's a beautiful, all-inclusive resort located between Rainforest Mountains and the Pacific Ocean. Don't wait to book your Passport to Paradise trip with AM 560 and Apple Vacations. Visit 560theanswer.com/passport. That's 560theanswer.com/passport.
All money managers might seem the same, but while some give their clients cookie-cutter portfolios, Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to your goals and needs. Some only call when they have something to sell. Fisher calls regularly, so you stay informed. And while some advisors are happy to earn commissions whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come from other money managers. So if you're in or nearing retirement, talk with us and find out why investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
Come on, kids, we're late.
Honey, the car won't start.
Mom, the dog just sat on my science project.
Life can be stressful, but getting life insurance shouldn't be. That's why there's Ethos. Ethos is a modern kind of life insurance that's super fast, incredibly affordable, and very uncomplicated. At GetEthos.com, there are no medical exams for policies covering under $1 million, no hours of paperwork or meetings with pushy representatives. It only takes 10 minutes to apply, and you can rest assured knowing you've taken steps to protect your family. And in most cases, with Ethos, you can have that peace of mind for less than a cup of coffee a day with no hidden fees. Having life insurance can free you from stress. Getting life insurance shouldn't cause it. Discover how uncomplicated life insurance can be at Ethos. Get your free instant quote and submit your complete application in minutes. Just go to GetEthos.com. That's ETHOS. GetEthos.com. GetEthos.com.
Peloton is a game-changing indoor cycling bike that brings the energy of live studio classes right to your home anytime you want. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom.
It is 7:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Metra trains are stopped outbound on the Union Pacific West line near Kedzie due to switch problems. Inbound trains at this time are still moving as scheduled. The northbound Tri-State Tollway, stop-and-go traffic from Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. The other tollways are still okay. Von Eden's 22 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 20. Kennedy, you get 38 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, it's 25. Inbound Eisenhower, now 57 minutes from 390 to downtown. 43 from Manheim. Outbound 33 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 38. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 18 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop, 423. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Intervals of clouds and sun, breezy and cold today, high 22. Partly cloudy cold tonight and a low 13. Clouds not as cold tomorrow, high near 30. Some snow on Sunday, 1 to 2 inches possible, high Sunday 28. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
12 degrees at O'Hare, clear skies. Next news coming up at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. President Trump will be addressing the nation from the Rose Garden at 9 a.m. Chicago time.
And you can hear it here. We'll have it for you.
He'll be explaining ostensibly why he's going to sign the bipartisan compromise on border security funding that has been leveled up to his desk, and also reportedly declare a national emergency for the purposes of commandeering other funds for border security. So said Mitch McConnell on the Senate floor yesterday.
I've just had an opportunity to speak with President Trump, and he, I would say to all my colleagues, has indicated he's prepared to sign the bill. He will also be issuing a national emergency declaration at the same time. And I've indicated to him that I'm going to support the national emergency declaration. So for all of my colleagues, the president will sign the bill.
Okay, so that's happening. Pelosi responding. She's not indicating yet whether they will seek legal action. She is indicating, though, that this precedent is dangerous.
There's nothing Chicago.
Did I ever say I was filing a legal challenge?
You said Democrats.
I may. That's an option, and we'll review our options. But it's important to note that when the president declares this emergency, first of all, it's not an emergency, what's happening at the border. It's a humanitarian challenge to the president that has tried to sell a bill of goods to America. But putting that aside, just in terms of the president making an end run around Congress, here he said, let us respect what the committee will do, and then walks away from it.
Well, he respected what the committee would do. He's going to sign it, but he's going to offer a little kicker too.
And she went on to say, the real emergency, because it's the anniversary of the Parkland shooting, that gun violence should be a national emergency.
Yeah, and it's something that some conservatives and other stock and trade Republicans have suggested. Well, this is a dangerous precedent setting. Not really. 31 national emergencies declared in the last 3 decades.
Yeah.
A range of topics.
Yeah, well, President Obama declared a national emergency to stop the deportation of Dreamers' parents. Remember that? That was the last one we had. Was that really a national emergency?
Well, number 2, the crime stats that President Trump read off provided to him by Secretary Nielsen earlier in the week. Boy, they certainly suggest something. You don't want to call it a national emergency. Okay, 3,000 murders and 10,000 sexual assaults and on up with respect to the tens of thousands of violent crimes, Class X felonies committed by people here illegally. That's something. That's a challenge. It's an issue. It's a law enforcement problem. Is it a national emergency? Oh, I don't know. And so the president is going to take what he could get from Congress, and he's going to take what he can get through the use of his executive power. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined again by Mark Morgan. He's a former FBI agent. He was also the Customs and Border Protection chief under President Obama. Mark, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks for having me on.
What did you think of, what do you think of both parts of this, I suppose? Take them in whichever order you want. The deal that the president is going to sign and the decision he's made to exercise his national emergency powers.
Yeah, so first, real quick, let me address the current Speaker of the House comments that it's not an emergency. You both just hit it. I mean, look at the crime stats, and I'm not going to repeat them. You just went down, and there's a heck of a lot more. We could do 20 minutes just on all the stats that are fact and hyperbole. Look at the current flow of those individuals seeking asylum. Right now, we're averaging 60,000 a month. Monday of just this week, 2,000 in one day. So far this year, 62 caravans of 100 or more. They had 13 of all last year, and she's going to say that this is not a crisis. It's absolutely unbelievable, misleading the people. Now, let's take this bill, and I don't say this easily. This bill is horrible. There's some good things in the bill, but there's some significant landmines in this bill. So, right, they talk about, so now Congress in this bill tells the Border Patrol, the experts, where they need the wall, what type of wall, and how they can build it. In the areas in the Texas area, the areas where they need it, one of the areas they need it the most, they're forcing them that they have to deal with local government before they can build it. And, oh, by the way, we know that the local government, because they've already expressed their opinions, they're against the barrier. So that will result in the rest of this fiscal year of no barrier being built. Then in Section 232A, they talk about that there's 5 areas that they can't build a barrier, including the National Butterfly Center. Not making it up. It's in the bill.
And is it?
They cannot build.
And
right?
also, besides the National Butterfly Center, I've heard of that. There's people's where the wall would go through their backyard. Are you familiar with that?
Yes. And so the issue is, and that's not new. So the 654 miles of barrier that have been built, there's always those challenges. But my response is they just leveled a landmark restaurant here where I live, the Globe and Laura, through eminent domain to build an extra wide road. But yet people are not supporting it when we have 4,000 murders, 100,000 assaults, 30,000 sexual. It's 6,000 gang members deported in the last 2 years. And they're worried about taking a little bit of land, right, for our national security. By saying there's 5 significant areas where you can't build a wall at all, that's creating a sanctuary border. You might as well put a sign to the cartels that says, come here, come through here. And they will. And they've already do. If you look at some of those national parks that are there, they're already going through and they're trashing those parks. Just talk to the people who support those areas. And the last thing I'll say is Section 224. This is the biggest issue of all, is that they're actually creating a new kind of amnesty. They are saying that ICE, if an individual that's here sponsors an unaccompanied minor, this bill says that ICE cannot do their job. ICE cannot touch them. Even if that sponsor is here illegally, and the stats will show that most sponsors of unaccompanied minors are here illegally, this bill says that ICE cannot touch them. And it's not just a sponsor, but it's a potential sponsor. It's anybody that lives in a household of a sponsor. This is truly unbelievable. It creates amnesty.
So then, what would you advise the president? Would you advise him to not sign this, to veto this, and just to declare a national emergency, or if in the interests of politics, and you can't eliminate politics from the consideration, it's always part of it, go ahead and sign it and make up for the deficiencies, and some of which you've described, through your national emergency powers and the other resources you can access?
Yeah, so I think that's the question. That's a great question. So, from my perspective is that these landmines that are in this current bill are so significant, he shouldn't sign this bill. He should do a CR and go back to Congress and say sections 231, 232A, and 224, you got to fix. You got to eliminate those sections. You eliminate those sections, re-sign it. He signs the bill then, and then he declares a national emergency.
But by the way, just getting your reaction too, just in terms of what he's up against. Now, you heard from Pelosi, but Beto O'Rourke yesterday asked the obvious questions. If walls are immoral, should we take down the border barriers? Should we take down the wall in El Paso? And you know what he said? Yes.
Oh, he did. He did. I'm sure
yes.
Has he ever been to El Paso? I lived
He
in
lives in El Paso.
Well, I know.
I mean,
well, still.
So, but Mark, react to that. That's what the president's dealing with.
So that's exactly right, and you phrased it perfectly. That's what he's dealing with, right? So they are absolutely experts that have dedicated, and this isn't hyperbole either. Experts that have dedicated their lives to defending the borders and protecting this country. Border Patrol agents, 128, have died doing that, and they have learned through the decades of their blood, sweat, and tears of what it needs to secure the borders. They've told Congress what they need, and Congress has said, nope, we reject you. And not only do they reject you, then you have congressmen like that just says just crazy, irresponsible, reckless, false statements. And it's beyond frustrating. And it's ironic because how about 2006 when both sides of the aisle passed the Secure Fence Act that led to the 654 miles being built? 2013, Congress and the Senate passed a bipartisan bill that had $8 billion for a wall. And oh, by the way, even though this bill is horrible, it still has 1.3 miles of barrier. What is it? What is it for the Democratic Party? Either it's immoral, ineffective, or it's not.
Yeah, they're always trying to get votes. As a former U.S. Border Patrol chief, what is the worst thing that you've seen on the job?
So, guys, great question. So really it's two sides, and this is why the president is accurate when he says this is both a humanitarian and national security incident, right? And so because you've got two different things going on, they're equally both crises. So on the humanitarian side, one of the things that I will never forget, I will take to my grave, is I'm in RGV, by the way, the area that they're limiting and say that you've got to talk to locals in areas where you can't build. I'm in that area, and I see a 6-year-old girl that's standing there as a Border Patrol agent's knelt down talking to her, trying to calm her. This 6-year-old girl, her parents, had given her to the coyotes to make the 1,000-mile journey, being subjected to who know what, so she could come to the United States. And they did that. They took that risk because of our broken laws, because they knew that she set one foot on American soil, she would be allowed into the United States, never to be heard from again. That moment, I teared up seeing that 6-year-old girl and thinking about, we could fix this. Congress could fix this, but they refused to. On the national security side, I watched. I actually participated as an observer in an operation where coyotes, the cartels had sent coyotes miles into the United States in some really tough terrain, and they had created an observation post. And why do you think they did that? So they could watch Border Patrol, and they're sophisticated and they have communications, so they could watch Border Patrol, and as in they're engaged in one area, they would radio to the coyotes so that drugs and bad people could come in around the Border Patrol agents. Happens every day, all day, because 60% of our border is porous and open.
He is Mark Morgan, former FBI special agent and former Customs and Border Protection chief under President Obama. Mark, thanks as always for joining us, providing your expertise. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
We are ready for Fioretti.
I'm former Alderman Bob Fioretti asking for your vote. As Alderman, I work for you, not the insiders. I'll do the same as mayor. If you're tired of the corruption as I am, the violent crime, the insider deals, then you're ready for Fioretti. I'll fight for what I've always fought for, creating jobs, no property tax increase, term limits, more police officers, and much more. Punch 35 for Bob Fioretti for mayor. Thank you.
We are ready for Fioretti.
Paid for by friends at Bob Fioretti.
I like this idea right now. If you buy the MyPillow 4-pack, 2 premium MyPillows, 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, but there's free shipping. I just ordered a set of Giza cotton sheets for Peyton for his twin XL bed because he's getting so tall. And I typed Amy in the promo code, and I loved that 30% off came. 30% came off the total order, and you get free shipping right now. So go to MyPillow.com and check out their mattress toppers, which are amazing. Their pet beds, which Bunky loves. Those Giza cotton sheets and pillowcases are amazing. And then when you check out, type Amy in the promo code for 30% off your order plus that free shipping. Or you can call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201 and tell them Amy sent you.
The quivers, the shivers, goosebumps. That's what our customers say before 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning repairs their furnace. Call us. We'll fix it right, stand by our work, and give you our straightforward pricing, which means no hourly charges. How's that for goosebumps? Right now, get big savings on any heating repair. Call 855-1HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Are you doing it? Do you want to live a healthier life? Do you want to ward off getting sick? Do you want to give your immune system a boost? Well, if you said yes to any of those questions, then a great way to do that is with the fruits and veggies from Balance of Nature. We're all busy, and it's hard to get enough fruits and veggies in our diet, and that's where Balance of Nature comes in. 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies in a capsule to boost your immune system all winter long. Folks, the testimonials are 100% real. I spent time with Dr. Douglas Howard. He showed me or told me about how they pick the fruits and veggies at the peak of freshness, and they're flash dried, put into a capsule. There's no preservatives, and people feel better and stronger. And that should be you. So don't wait another day. Try it now before you get sick. And you can get 35% off when you order by using the promo code Chicago. Go to balanceofnature.com. 35% off your first set of fruits and veggies from Balance of Nature.
The Greater Chicago Coin, Currency, and Collectible Show, one of the largest coin shows in the nation, is here. Now at the Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles, February 21st through the 23rd. Winter blues got you down? When the weather's cold, go for some indoor fun for everyone. Check out Coins and Currency as history comes alive right before your eyes. Coins and Currency can be great investments too, and a great hobby. Admission and parking are free. Just bring your photo ID. Hundreds of the top dealers from all over the country. Displays valued at millions of dollars. U.S. and world paper money, gold and silver bullion, and more. The Greater Chicago Coin, Currency, and Collectible Show. A show for the whole family. February 21st through the 23rd. At the new location, the Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles. Admission and parking both free with your photo ID. Get rid of those winter blues. Get to the Greater Chicago Coin, Currency, and Collectible Show. All the info at chicagocoinshow.com. chicagocoinshow.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Mike Andriano of Trinity Holistic Health Center. We live in interesting times. The world seems to make less sense every year. More adults and children struggle with anxiety and sleep issues. Over the past couple of years, more than half of the clients coming into my office report poor sleep or problems with anxiety. Those who suffer with these issues know that they impact every aspect of their life and seem like torture. Both issues are signs of deeper health problems. Inflammation drives a process that causes anxiety and poor sleep. Anti-inflammatory diets, herbs, and even medications don't address the root cause of inflammation, but we do. My practice at Trinity Holistic Health Center concentrates on finding and fixing the root cause of your health problem, not just covering up the symptoms.
If this sounds like you, go to lifedoc.am or call 1-833-LIFEDOC and learn how you can get help to end your anxiety and get a restful night's sleep once and for all. That's lifedoc.am or call 1-833-LIFE-DOC.
AM 560, The Answer.
So Jason Van Dyke's wife, Tiffany, came forward yesterday in a tearful response to her husband allegedly being beaten up in prison. Actually, it wasn't alleged because they received a phone call from the federal prison in Danbury, Connecticut from a person who works at the jail saying that her husband suffered minor injuries. He had face injuries and head injuries when a bunch of inmates, they didn't say the exact amount, went into his cell and beat him up.
I don't need people to go into his cell and attack him. The next time this could happen, they could kill him. I cannot bury my husband.
And we do know that this attack was because of this case. It was not random.
Yeah, clearly it was not random. And since the incident, he's been in lockdown 23 hours a day. He's not allowed to have any visitors, nor write emails or make phone calls in this isolated area of the prison.
Maybe Jussie Smollett could be introduced as his cellmate and protect him, since he was able to fight off those two Nigerian brothers who attacked him.
Too soon. Too soon. I mean, we're glad Jason Van Dyke's okay. I'm personally glad that he did not suffer any severe injuries, but he was moved to this prison. They didn't even tell the family that he was being moved. And then they were trying to look for him for 2 days, and that's when they got a phone call from an employee at the federal prison saying they're concerned about his safety.
Immediately upon arrival, Jason was placed in general population, as if he was led like a lamb to the slaughter.
There is a responsibility on law enforcement. There's a responsibility on our leaders to make sure that he is protected.
Well, yeah, there's a responsibility on the prisons to keep the prisoners safe. There's no question. You feel bad for the family. You feel bad for his wife.
Well,
I don't know. What do you
officers are
want?
asking for the governor to commute his sentence
No,
because
it's not
there's
gonna-
no
no.
safe place for him anywhere.
That's
because everybody in the
ridiculous.
world saw that video.
ridiculous. Ridiculous. You don't commute his sentence because you say you can't keep a prisoner safe. That's absurd. I get it. You disagree with the verdict, or people disagree with the verdict, and they want to see him released.
They disagree with the sentencing, and so does our Attorney General Kwame Raoul and that special prosecutor Joseph McMahon, who won the convictions against Van Dyke. Remember on sentencing day, he was fine with the sentence, but now all of a sudden it's political because Kwame Raoul is the new big bad attorney in town or in the state, and they're teaming up together to try and get his sentence.
To re-sentence him, to add more years.
Yeah.
Look, the judge handed down the sentence. If it's within the guidelines, it's within the guidelines. Yes, it's political posturing by Kwame Raoul. But this idea that because he was attacked, he doesn't have to serve out the sentence that was meted out, the conviction that was handed down by the jury? No. I mean, I'm sorry, but no. Doesn't work that way.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll turn our discussion to Andy McCabe, the latest disgraced former FBI DOJ official to have a book, and the fawning of the D.C. press corps 60 Minutes interview he sat down for. David Harsanyi from The Federalist will go over it with us.
And just when you thought it was safe, there's more R. Kelly sex tapes. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Skies are clear, sunrise in the area, 12 degrees. President Trump plans to sign a bill in the Rose Garden at 9 a.m. You'll hear that signing ceremony here on AM 560 this morning. Again, at 9 a.m. That will keep the federal government open. The bipartisan budget bill will fund 1/4 of the U.S. government through the end of the fiscal year. Immediately after the bill signing, the president will declare a national and humanitarian emergency along the border with Mexico. And that infuriates Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer.
Declaring a national emergency would be a lawless act, a gross abuse of the power of the presidency.
But it has been done 31 times by presidents since 1979, and Democrats say they'll try to challenge that emergency declaration in federal court. William Barr is America's new Attorney General. Barr, who previously headed the Justice Department under President George H.W. Bush, was sworn in yesterday, shortly after being confirmed by the Senate. One suspect is dead, another in custody after a reported carjacking of a UPS truck and taking a driver hostage. It happened in San Jose, California, in front of reporter Janelle Wang.
He's pointing the shotgun. He's getting down. Oh, no. Get down. Get down. Get down. He's pointing the shotgun. Okay, you're fine. He's opened the door. Oh, my God. He's running. He's running. He's running.
Suspect Mark Moraski fled the scene after that incident. It began as a chase when officers tried to pull over that stolen vehicle. The two suspects then carjacked a UPS driver. The pursuit continued. It ended with an hours-long standoff. Students at a school in northwest Indiana missed out more than 2 weeks of school because of problems with the school's aging boiler system, leaving the building without heat. The problem is at Theodore Roosevelt College and Career Academy. So now the school is being shoehorned into the nearby Gary Area Career Center. Lost instruction time will likely have to be made up on Saturdays. One man is dead, another in serious condition following a shooting on Chicago's far north side. Police say the victims were shot last night while sitting in a parked vehicle on North Albany. A bus driver in stable condition after a stolen vehicle crashed into a CTA bus on Chicago's southwest side. That stolen vehicle crashed into that bus near California and 25th. A South Elgin high school student is charged with battery after throwing bleach on another student. Police say the 14-year-old threw bleach on another girl during a fight over a social media post at the school on Wednesday. Patrick Kane, a goal and 2 assists. Blackhawks beat the Devils 5-2 at the United Center. Chicago's won 8 of its last 9. Big Ten hoops, Fighting Illini getting hot at the right time. They held off Ohio State in Columbus last night, 63-56. The news service of Peloton, live studio classes in the comfort of your own home. Winter or summer, rain or shine, with the Peloton bike, it's always the perfect weather to sweat. And with up to 14 live rides a day and over 10,000 more on demand, nothing will get between you and your workout. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager has a message for liberals.
That liberals are so stupid as to not realize what Alan Dershowitz realizes, that the enemy of liberalism is the left. Your foolishness is jeopardizing the future of the greatest experiment in liberty in human history, the United States of America, because you don't understand the left is your enemy.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
If you're young and healthy, you don't need life insurance, right? Yeah, that's what I used to think too, until my brother died at 38. Joe left his wife with 2 kids, a mortgage, and a stack of bills she couldn't pay. Mary had to sell the house and move everybody into this tiny 2-bedroom apartment just to make ends meet. I never want to do that to my wife, so I got life insurance. I called AIG Direct and was really surprised how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. Listen, if you have a family, you should seriously think about getting life insurance. You'll feel a lot better having it, trust me.
Call AIG Direct for a free, no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you could save up to 70%. Call now. 1-800-600-9519. That's 1-800-600-9519. 1-800-600-9519.
We've all been there, looking for a parking spot when it's freezing and icy outside. The icy pavement of this pothole-filled parking lot is a nightmare. Oh, there's a spot. Wait, oh no, you're sliding. Watch out for that pothole. Your tire just blew out. The kids are crying and you're never coming back here again. Business owners and property managers, avoid frustrating your customers with a less than perfect parking lot. Pavement Solutions can offer you a safer and longer lasting pothole repair with permanent cold mix asphalt. It's an immediate solution and 90% of potholes patched will never need to be repaired again. Call Pavement Solutions today and learn how they can fix your lot in a day without closing it. In fact, as customers drive over the patch, it gets stronger. Don't put your customers or your business at risk with annoying potholes. Give your customers the experience they deserve. Call Pavement Solutions for a free quote. 815-675-0696. 815-675-0696.
7:36. Let's get a check on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonti.
Kennedy inbound, traffic's heavy. Cumberland most of the way to the Burns Circle. It's 48 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 25 from Montrose, 17 on the Express. Outbound 25 minutes downtown to the airport. Edith, 22 minutes Lake Cook Junction. Outbound 21. Mount Eisenhower. 57 minutes, 390 to downtown. 43 from Manheim. Outbound 32 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 44 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 38. Ryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 21 minutes, siding to the merge, Bishop 426. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is heavy, Irving Park to North Avenue. Northbound Tri-State, 75th to 31st. The Reagan tollway to the Ike. Their tollways are still okay. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, a breezy day ahead, much colder. Clouds and sunshine will be mixed and a high of 22. Currently 12. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Bill Barr's hot mess, writes Kim Strassel, Wall Street Journal. And I think she sticks the landing yet again. For the first time in this presidency, the Justice Department will have a leader who is apart from the Russia stink, neither accused of collusion nor obsessed with finding it. He's also uniquely suited to understand the importance of credibility and accountability, having worked in the 70s at CIA, then under intense fire, and of course, Attorney General. previously. And Strassel offers a lot of questions that need compelling answers. Is it acceptable for the FBI to use opposition research as an excuse to surveil a political campaign, to use back channels to stay in touch with sources at FIRE, to open counter-intel investigations into political figures, to actively hide those investigations from congressional overseers, to hold meetings about removing presidents? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, Americans deserve to know that this is the brave new world they live in. Absolutely. And you're getting another taste of it because you have another disgraced former senior official at FBI who's got a book out. And that means the breathless Scott Pelley interview on CNN, which was previewed yesterday. Andy McCabe. Scott Pelley did not mention this. Nobody on the CBS panel discussing the interview did either. Fired for lying.
Yeah, that never came out.
The Inspector General report. Has anybody impugned the integrity or fairness of Michael Horowitz, the DOJ Inspector General, and the report he compiled that led to Mr. McCabe's termination? Just asking because I don't get that sort of context.
And the book is titled, by the way, The Threat, How the FBI Protects America in the Age of Terror and Trump.
Terror and Trump,
Terror and Trump.
Synonyms.
Yes.
Or compliments at minimum, right? Yeah. That's how we're supposed to take that. Here's McCabe talking Russian collusion.
I was speaking to the man who had just run for the presidency and won the election for the presidency, and who might have done so with the aid of the government of Russia, our most formidable adversary on the world stage. And that was something that troubled me greatly.
How long was it after that you decided to start the obstruction of justice and counterintelligence investigations involving the president?
I think the next day I met with the team investigating the Russia cases, and I asked the team to go back and conduct an assessment to determine where are we with these efforts and what steps do we need to take going forward. I was very concerned that I was able to put the Russia case on absolutely solid ground in an indelible fashion, that were I removed quickly or reassigned or fired, that the case could not be closed or vanish in the night without a trace. I wanted to make sure that our case was on solid ground, and if somebody came in behind me and closed it and tried to walk away from it, they would not be able to do that without creating a record of why they'd made that decision.
Right. Okay. Again, this is Andy McCabe, hero. Andy McCabe, Jack Ryan. And then Scott Pelley goes on to characterize something else McCabe told him that made headlines yesterday, confirming in quotation marks because, again, he's fired for lying.
Right.
Confirming that, yes, there was a movement afoot within justice to move on President Trump.
There was a discussion underway about removing the President of the United States.
They were counting noses. They were not asking cabinet members whether they would vote for or against removing the president, but they were speculating this person would be with us, that person would not be, and they were counting noses in that effort.
And this was not perceived to be a joke.
This was not perceived to be a joke.
Mm-hmm.
It was also said at a previous time that the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, offered to wear a wire into the White House to record potentially incriminating conversations with the president. A statement was released after that was never serious, it was sarcastic, etc. McCabe, in our interview, says no. It came up more than once, and it was so serious that he took it to the lawyers at the FBI to discuss it.
And soon-to-be former Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein said no. What McCabe is saying is, quote, factually incorrect, unquote. And Rosenstein mentioned in his statement what Scott Pelley didn't about McCabe, that he was fired for lying to the DOJ IG. You know, who to believe? Comey and McCabe are offered conflicting testimony before Congress. Rosenstein and McCabe are offering conflicting views on this counter-intel fifth column action inside justice against President Trump. Who to believe, if any of them? For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by David Harsanyi, senior editor at TheFederalist.com, author of the book First Freedom, A Ride Through America's Enduring History with the Gun from the Revolution to Today. David, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So what about the latest, greatest former FBI guy who becomes a media star for at least a week, Andy McCabe?
I laugh out loud every time I hear him or read that he said that he set this all up so that it wouldn't just vanish into the wind. The Russian investigation was just going to vanish into the wind without his hard work. Whether you like Trump or you don't like Trump, the idea that a bunch of law enforcement officials, who are essentially his subordinates in a way, can basically try to set him up to overthrow the elected president. It's just, to me, this is huge, and it's never going to be treated as the big story it is because we're busy talking about whatever new theory has come up about Trump conspiring with the Russians to win the election.
Yeah. Well, when McCabe spoke, to me, it felt like he was acting like a victim. Did he come across the same way to you?
Yeah, I mean, he basically has a sort of Comey-like, story to tell. A man just doing what's best for the nation. So he's acting like a victim. He's a lie. I don't even know what to say about this anymore. It's kind of like if we started this story from scratch, but told you first what these FBI people had done and just with counterintelligence and how the whole thing was triggered through Oppo research done by a Democratic president, paid for by a Democratic presidential candidate that was partly derived from Kremlin sources. You would say this was a coup. I hate to use that word. It's not a violent coup, but it sounds like a coup to me.
Speaking of matters of constitutional import, the president, 9 a.m. this morning, expected to declare a national emergency, invoke his powers under the 1976 National Emergencies Act to gather together additional resources that are being provided by Congress in the compromise deal to do more border security funding and wall building, ostensibly. What do you think about the argument that is being made by some conservatives that this is a dangerous precedent the president is setting?
Yeah, I think it's a very dangerous precedent. It's Obama-esque in scope, I guess, and it's essentially going around the will of Congress. Congress just pursued a budget bill that gave him some money for the wall. They obviously don't want to give him all the money for the wall. I disagree with them. But if we're just going to find loopholes and ways to do whatever we want when we're president, that to me is executive abuse. Even if he gets away with it, even if it's legal, Obama did many things through these sorts of loopholes in different ways, including DACA and many, many other things that were, in my estimation, executive abuse. And Trump needs to just find a different way and win more seats and get his wall that way. I just think this sets up a terrible precedent. And listen, Democrats might do it anyway in the future. The only silver lining might be that the court finds the 1976 law, somehow unconstitutional, and then that would be, I think, a great thing because this is really a congressional problem. They've been handing over their duties to the executive branch for decades already, and I think that's a big problem. And
specifically, since you've written a book about America's enduring history with the gun, Pelosi invoking essentially gun control as a national emergency issue, and that the president is opening the door to this. And my point, as you sort of intimated, is, seriously, with the Democrats, how the Democrat socialists are constituted these days with their presidential candidates, you think that they wouldn't go after guns or anything else within their left-wing agenda, regardless of what the president does or doesn't do on national emergencies as it pertains to the border?
I do, but there are two things there. I think you're making a case to the American people that it's wrong, and so that they might not do it because of political pressure. But if you're yourself doing it, then that political pressure is going to be difficult to put on them because you yourself have done things like that. Secondly, I don't think that guns are actually anything. This is about funding and moving around money. I'm not sure. And guns are protected by the Second Amendment, obviously. I don't think that. I think she's just throwing that out there as sort of scaremongering. But when you're talking about things like the Green New Deal and funding certain sorts of things that might happen. And I think they would do it anyway. I think they have done things like this. They were funding Obamacare subsidies without any congressional funding mechanism. So it's not like they won't do this if they will. But I think it's going to be harder and harder to make the case that they're abusing power if you yourself are doing the same thing.
Well, do you know the statistics of, all the people that come here illegally, who commit crimes, who commit homicides, who commit rapes, and you really don't think there's any need for a national emergency to get funding for his wall?
I think that Congress should be working on legislation to build a wall. So I agree with you that there is an emergency there. The national emergency has never, that I have looked through them, never been used to circumvent what Congress is doing. Just because there's a problem doesn't always mean it's an emergency. I mean, using that example, liberals can easily say climate change is a huge emergency and do whatever they like when it comes to funding. I just think it's just not how the American government's supposed to work. I'm not saying, I think Trump actually has a better sort of, in a broader sense, I think Trump's case is wrong. I think it's overreach, executive overreach. I mean, but he probably has a better case that the border is a much more significant national emergency than climate change and things like that. But the problem is, I'm not sure Americans are going to agree with that in the long run.
Now, the flip side of this, and we were just talking to Mark Morgan at the top of the hour, Obama's former Customs and Border Protection chief, and he suggests the president should veto the legislation that was sent to him. Some others are suggesting that too, because there are those landmines in there that the president expressed concerns about finding when it comes to sort of new amnesties and the inability of ICE to do, putting handcuffs on ICE effectively to do its job. So some real concerns there that it actually could exacerbate the problems, particularly for law enforcement. What's your view on the deal that is in place, the legislative deal in place?
I think they just tried to find something, some middle ground that allowed the president to say he was moving forward and allowed, Democrats to say they had won. I don't think it seems like a good deal to me. I'm not an expert on it. I wish the president would veto it or would not have supported it and continued moving forward. I mean, I think that the shutdown did not work out for him, obviously. He doesn't have a lot of leverage. But I'm not sure that simply because a poll says that the president, the people blame the Republican, which is always the case during a shutdown, doesn't mean that it's good for Democrats either. I forgot what the number was, at $1.3 billion for the wall or something.
Yeah,
right. That's a joke. That's a joke. So he should have stuck to his guns, I think. I mean, it is ridiculous that Democrats who want to spend trillions of dollars, $1 bazillion on Green New Deals won't, cough up a few, $1 billion for a wall. It's kind of ridiculous, and I think he should just continue that fight instead of doing this. And by the way, there might be even other ways he can move forward on this incrementally rather than rather than a national emergency.
Yeah, some discussion about working with friendly state administrations like Abbott in Texas and do a bit of a federalist play rather than the national emergency play.
And another component to this is some judge in Hawaii or somewhere else is going to step in anyway, and then it's just going to be caught up in the courts and make it even more difficult to move forward, I think.
He is David Harsanyi, senior editor of Federalist.com. The book, First Freedom, A Ride Through America's Enduring History with the Gun, From the Revolution to Today. David, thanks for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had seen my kidney doctor because I only have one kidney that works. And the other one doesn't work at all. And I was pretty close to going on dialysis if it didn't improve. This last visit to my kidney doctor, my kidney it's operating at 21% now. So that's the highest that it's been in the last 8 years. This is really working well for me, and I am so grateful that I found you guys.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 20% off any first preferred order of Balance of Nature and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs, get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat, you do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst. From an accident or pain that just develops, Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido, Chicago anesthesia and pain specialist, will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain, find the source, and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. Under current Illinois state law, you can lose your home if your real estate taxes are 8 months past due. 50,000 Cook County property owners learned that the hard way this year. People facing financial hardship can't afford to pay the taxes, can have their properties sold for a fraction of the value of the property. As your mayor, I would change that.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Keene Jr. of the Mail House, Inc., a family-owned and operated digital print mail house with a specialty in political advertising and a customer of Signature Bank. We knew that getting a loan to buy our business wouldn't be easy, so we turned to one of our trusted friends for a referral. She told us about the outstanding level of customer service her business received at Signature Bank since becoming one of their first customers in 2006. Today, we couldn't be happier. Not only did Signature help us finance the purchase of the mail house, but they supported our growth as we modernized our operations in mailing as well as from traditional to digital printing. If you're looking for a great bank to grow your business, take a look at Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, I'm Amy Jacobson, and I have the pleasure of having Chris Crum, the national host of Power Trading Radio, with me. And he has some really cool workshops on the schedule that you can attend right here in the Chicagoland area. Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm awesome, Amy. Thanks for having me. This is for Online Trading Academy. They're the people that power Trading Radio. And they've got some powerful, comprehensive workshops on the schedule. They're proven, convenient workshops where they teach you the common mistakes that traders and investors make. They show you how they can time the markets with a great degree of accuracy. And you know what they do is they introduce you to a patented rule-based strategy that you can apply to a trading account if you want to replace or supplement your income. Or, you know what, apply it to your long-term investments to grow wealth over time. $500 value, but they have empowered me to give it away to your listeners today absolutely free.
And the phone number to call is 888-984-TRADE. That's 888-984-8723, or go to tradingacademy.com. That's tradingacademy.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Excited about this. $15 minimum wage coming to Illinois.
Yay! Go Illinois.
$15 minimum wage. You know the funny thing about the $15 minimum wage?
It's gradual, though. It's not going to be at once, okay, guys?
The interesting thing about that, and I know that the political ruling class doesn't care about anything outside Chicago Metro. I get that. But the problem with the $15 minimum wage, I mean, so many problems. Just bad economics. In a lot of counties in this state, the $15 minimum wage is higher than the median household income.
Right.
So you're essentially mandating universal basic income to be provided by an employer. You know what the employer is going to do? Not do that.
Right.
And not open here, and not expand here, and not stay here.
Or, and if they are here, pass the costs on to the customers.
And reduce their overhead as it pertains to labor.
Yeah.
That's what actually happens. And, of course, who's hurt the worst? The people they say they're helping the most. Those on the lower rungs of the socioeconomic ladder who are working, and good for them, to work their way up. I mean, it's so disingenuous. All of the economic arguments are specious, as any Econ 101 student or anybody who's passed an Econ 101 course will tell you. So again, these are the big ideas for the worst governed state in the history of America. abortion, legalizing dope, and the highest minimum wage in the Midwest. This is going to go very well.
We keep going.
This is going to go very well. And people are going to keep going, as in they are going to, the mass exodus from Illinois will continue, and it's going to pick up in pace. And we'll see, too. I think one of the other things that is an underreported story and working on in the newspapers that I'm a part of, a lot of people that are high profile who are quietly no longer Illinois residents, who weigh in on public policy discussions, support raising taxes, and they're not here anymore, not officially. So, yes, stand by for that.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll pick up our discussion of immigration and talk a little bit more economics, AOC style, with Steve Cortez, CNN political commentator, 808.
And later, if you've seen the movie Gosnell, we'll give you a reason why you should if you haven't seen it. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Cook County Republicans are endorsing Willie Wilson in the mayor's race. South Elgin student charged with throwing bleach on another student. Blackhawks beat the Devils last night. Breezy and much colder in your forecast. WIND, Chicago News Time, 8.
He'll do more than just sign a bill. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Next hour, President Trump will also declare a national emergency at the border to get a lot more money to build more wall than that bipartisan compromise bill allows.
This is not an emergency, and the president's fear-mongering doesn't make it one.
Democratic Senate Leader Chuck Schumer.
Congress will defend our constitutional authorities in every way that we can.
Fox's John Decker is live at the White House.
The president will announce he's moving $8 billion in currently appropriated funds toward construction of the wall, including about $600 million from the Treasury Department's forfeiture fund. The White House has already identified $3.5 billion in construction projects that it deems are not as important as building a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. Democrats and some Republicans have condemned the president's planned action as a constitutional violation, with some vowing to challenge it in the federal courts. Dave?
John, trade talks are continuing in China, and the president of that country was involved in the discussions today. We're meeting the American delegation. The U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer says they have made some very important progress in the last 2 days of talks, and they will continue those negotiations next week in Washington before new U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods would take effect next month. They're happy and they're angry in New York City. Reaction mixed about Amazon scrapping plans to build a second headquarters after politicians like Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez opposed the tax breaks Amazon was going to get. The Democrat says it shows the people still can
fight for their communities, and they can have more say in this country than the richest man in the world.
Others, like business owner Josh Bowen, say
this is the stupidest decision by a local politician, maybe in the history of our local politicians.
This is Fox News.
Sunshine, 12 degrees, 8:02 is our time on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Jason Van Dyke's wife is demanding answers after her husband was beaten in his cell by other inmates last week. Tiffany Van Dyke asked state and federal officials yesterday why her husband was transferred from a safe Illinois facility to a federal facility in Connecticut without her knowledge.
They put my husband in a setting to be harmed because of the fact that he was a white man who harmed a black gentleman in the line of duty. My family fear for him every single day.
An attorney for the former Chicago police officer says he was attacked within hours of arriving in his new unit. Chicago police say they've been interviewing two persons of interest in connection to the alleged attack on Empire actor Jussie Smollett. Their identities are not yet being revealed, but the Tribune reports both men are black. Meantime, authorities are on the record confirming there's currently no evidence to support an ABC7 report that the two men had staged the attack with Smollett. One man is dead, another in serious condition following a shooting on Chicago's far north side. It happened in the 6500 block of North Albany. A South Elgin high school student is charged with battery after throwing bleach on another student. It happened Wednesday morning. Cook County Republicans are backing Willie Wilson in the Chicago mayor's race. The businessman receiving the endorsement from the Cook County Republican Party Chairman Sean Morrison and Chicago Young Republicans. Patrick Kane, a goal and a helper, 2 helpers. Blackhawks beat the Devils 5-2 at the United Center. Big Ten Hoops Fighting Illini get a road win over Ohio State in Columbus, 63-56. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, beverage and snack company PepsiCo is reporting a mixed quarter. Its earnings were on target and sales were better than expected. But Pepsi is lowering its expectations for this year. Ride company Lyft is pitching investors on its growth as it prepares to go public. Lyft is looking to beat Uber Technologies to be the first publicly listed ride company. Reuters says Lyft is telling potential shareholders that is driving many more people than a year ago, and its market share is approaching 40%. Cannabis company Canopy Growth is reporting a 283% increase in the money it brought in during the recent quarter as recreational marijuana became legal in Canada. However, it had expenses that cut into its earnings. John Deere & Company is reporting a disappointing quarter. Sales increased, but it was paying more for raw materials and logistics. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Do you own or run a thriving business in the Chicagoland area? Have you overcome obstacles to make your business what it is today? If that's your business, then AM 560 wants to tell your story on the AM 560 Business Tour, presented by Signature Bank. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson will be broadcasting live from businesses all around Chicagoland, telling success stories of thriving, successful businesses. Hey, if that's you, tell us about it. Visit 560theanswer.com/business and submit your information. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
My name is David Hochberg at Team Hochberg. If you're looking to refinance, please call Team Hochberg. Mike, self-employed, lives in a $1 million home in Glenview, called to refinance and combined his $500,000 expiring adjustable rate mortgage and $100,000 HELOC. Mike planned on moving when his daughter graduates high school in 5 years, so to help Mike afford his constantly increasing and ridiculously expensive real estate taxes, I recommended an interest-only loan. Mike was hesitant at first, but after I explained his monthly payment would decrease over $1,100 a month, he told us to immediately get the ball rolling. If you're interested in lowering your monthly mortgage payment, like Mike, call the local mortgage experts right now on Team Hochberg at 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID. That's 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com.
Homeside Financial Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, MB 66761019, NMLS 1124061.
All money managers might seem the same, but while some give their clients cookie-cutter portfolios, Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to your goals and needs. Some only call when they have something to sell. Fisher calls regularly, so you stay informed. And while some advisors are happy to earn commissions whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come from other money managers. So if you're in or nearing retirement, talk with us and find out why investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments. Clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
It's 8:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
We're not seeing any delays on 53 right now, but traffic is heavy on eastbound 390 from Meacham, 53 and 290. Tri-State Tollway, it's slow going northbound, 75th to 31st. From the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower, and then from Duffy to before Everett, where a crash has the right lane blocked. The Adams Tollway is okay. Eastbound Reagan Tollway, it's slow going 25 to Washington. Northbound Veterans Memorial, 75th to the Reagan Tollway. Inbound Edens, 24 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Kennedy, 48 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. A little quicker in the Express. Eisenhower, 57 minutes, 390 to downtown. 43 from Manheim. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, breezy and much colder. Intervals of clouds and sun, high 22. Partly cloudy, very cold tonight, low down to 13. Mostly cloudy for tomorrow with a high near 30. Sunday, cloudy, some snow, 1 to 2 inches possible. High Sunday, 28. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
It is 9 degrees officially at O'Hare, 13 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Ocasio-Cortez, AOC-onomics.
Her big victory yesterday. She stopped 25,000 jobs from coming to Queens.
She's claiming credit. She really doesn't deserve it, but she's happy about it.
We were subsidizing those jobs. So for the city was paying for those jobs. So frankly, if we were willing to give Amazon if we were willing to give away $3 billion for this deal, we could invest those $3 billion in our district ourselves if we wanted to. We could hire out more teachers. We can fix our subways. We can put a lot of people to work for that money if we wanted to.
So I'm against subsidizing private employment because I want to use that to subsidize public sector employment.
Exactly. See what
Got
you
it.
did there?
And also, per the GND, AOC's GND, I would also like to use some of that to subsidize people who aren't interested in private or public employment.
Exactly. Mayor Bill de Blasio, this all came as a big surprise for him.
Instead of an actual dialogue to try and resolve those issues, we get a call this morning saying we're taking our ball and we're going home. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, I doubt he was surprised, and I know they're not friends, but he could have called Governor Cuomo because Cuomo was meeting with Amazon execs along with labor unions this week, reports the New York Daily News, to salvage the deal. But when Amazon refused to relent on its opposition to unions being formed among its employees, it put Cuomo and other pro-union politicians in a bit of a tricky spot. That would, of course, include the Sandinista de Blasio. And so you're going to stick us up on the union issue, then we're not going to break ground here. And that's how it went down.
Instead, more jobs are going to go to Nashville and to Northern Virginia. They're just going to expand those plants.
For more on AOC-onomics and matters at the border, we're pleased to be joined by Steve Cortez, CNN political commentator, former head of Trump's Hispanic Advisory Council. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Thanks for having me.
What about that? I mean, Chicago was in the running. We got down on bended knee again when this news came out, did Tiny Dancer and other polls to say, hey, we're still here. Come on over to Chicago. Not going to happen. But AOC-onomics and the Amazon sweepstakes.
Right. My long-lost cousin Cortez, she and I might share a name, but not much else, right?
Yes.
Listen, this is one of those situations, though, where I have to tell you, Dan, I really kind of root against everyone.
Right.
Governor Cuomo, Mayor de Blasio, AOC, and Amazon,
Yeah.
for that matter. I'm not going to, for 1 second, praise Amazon. I think big tech has been very destructive in a lot of ways for America. And I think that they're rent-seeking, and I hate the way that Amazon, I think, abused their power and got a lot of states and localities to do ridiculous bidding to try to attract them. I think that's exactly what's wrong with crony capitalism. That big business can get breaks that no small or medium-sized business could ever get. So I do hate that as a policy. Now, having said that, AOC is completely wrong. I think in her thinking, she actually thinks that the state and city of New York have $3 billion sitting in a bank account that they were going to hand to Amazon.
Right.
That is not the case. They were giving them $3 billion of discounts, essentially, off of taxes. And again, I don't like this. I think it's totally unfair to small business in America. But they were effectively, they were handing coupons, more or less, right, to Amazon. It's not as though that money is sitting somewhere and can then be deployed elsewhere. And on top of it, as you mentioned, the idea that public sector jobs are somehow preferable to private sector jobs is just on its face a ludicrous notion, because the exact opposite, of course, is true. Government never creates prosperity. It can only create employment, for example, by taking money from the private sector or borrowing from the private sector and creating a public sector job. Government instead should be all about creating the conditions for private sector prosperity, and that's something that's not being done in New York. It's certainly not being done in Illinois either, and we see people and companies voting with their feet, and places, Amy, you mentioned places like Nashville, lo and behold, red states doing incredibly well and seeing nothing but growth in both population and in enterprise.
And then with Trump's new, I just did my taxes, and blue states, we're getting hit hard. Right. If you're middle income and you own a home, you're not going to be getting a return. You're going to be having to pay cash. And it's the same with New York and with California, correct?
Right. No, and, I have to say, too, though, to me, listen, I don't like it as an Illinois resident, obviously, but I have to say, too, that the complaining that is coming out of the high-tax states, out of New York, New Jersey, California, Illinois, from politicians is really, to me, crocodile tears. Rather than complaining that the deductibility is being limited, how about get your tax structure in line so that you're more competitive with Texas and Florida and Tennessee and all of these states that are thriving? How about take a lesson out of their playbook rather than just complaining to the federal government? And by the way, particularly in regards to the property tax deduction, I have to say that is one deduction. In general, I love tax deductions, right? The fewer taxes Americans pay, the better in general, philosophically, from my perspective. But that was a clear giveaway to the wealthiest Americans, because middle-income people, for instance, who rent get no deduction, zero. And then somebody who has a mansion in Beverly Hills gets a massive deduction off of federal taxes. So I do think that is something that shouldn't be, to me, local property taxes shouldn't be a federal issue. And if local property taxes are too high, and they are in a lot of places, especially here, it's up to local politicians to fix it.
But what about writing off business expenses? You have somebody who cuts hair and she buys scissors. She can't write that off as a business expense. That's not even on the form this year.
Right. No, listen, I agree. Business expenses should be fully deductible for every taxpayer. And look, our tax code, even though I think it got a lot better under President Trump, it's still far from great. Our tax code is still punitive to small business in many ways and still rewards big business. And that's not just my opinion. Just look at the tax bills that are actually paid by big business. Even when they post record profits, oftentimes their tax bill is either zero or it's close to zero. They'll be paying a percentage that is in the single digits. That's why one reason why I think it was so important for us to get the corporate rate down. I almost don't like to call it the corporate rate. I'd rather call it the small business rate, because big corporations have never paid that rate anyway. But small business does, and medium-sized business. That's why to get that rate down, as happened in the previous tax code, was so important. And it's one of the reasons that small business has been thriving under President Trump. Is the incentives have been normalized, I would say, for them, particularly in regards of small business versus big business.
So 9 o'clock this morning, President Trump in the Rose Garden, and by the way, you can hear his remarks on our airwaves live 9 o'clock. He is going to reportedly announce he's signing the deal that Congress sent to him, and he is also declaring a national emergency to secure other funding for the border security that he wants and Congress won't give him. You tweeted out that you think he's making a mistake in signing the deal Congress sent to him, that he should veto that bill. Why?
I do. I think it's a huge mistake. The biggest reason is, and by the way, I don't want the government to be closed. I would, if I were in his shoes, and this is what I'd advise the White House, ask for a continuing resolution so that we can continue to negotiate, keep the government open for a few weeks. But the biggest problem is there's a lot of embedded amnesty within this bill. And the worst version of it, there's several, but the worst version is the UAC portion, unaccompanied alien children. So young people who show up here without their parents. And they can be as old as 17, by the way. A lot of these are not children, but they're legal children. And this new bill states that anyone who sponsors or may potentially sponsor, believe it or not, that's the language, a UAC cannot be deported. In addition to that, anyone who shares a household with a UAC, with an unaccompanied alien child, cannot be deported. So, number one, that is, you're automatically putting literally hundreds of thousands, perhaps even millions of people into a non-deportable category, illegal immigrants. I think that's totally wrong on its face. It's terrible policy. But in addition to that, you're encouraging the trafficking of kids, because kids become then a chip that illegal immigrants can play effectively to make sure that they're untouchable by ICE. And I specifically talked to ICE, a lot of people who didn't want to go on the record, of course, for understandable reasons, but I talked to them yesterday, and they're apoplectic over this. They just can't believe, particularly the part about may potentially sponsor a UAC. How is ICE supposed to determine who's a potential sponsor? How are they supposed to determine who actually lives in a household or not? You're asking ICE agents to suddenly become basically judges out there. You're completely handcuffing them instead of allowing them to handcuff the bad guys. And so to me, this is an amnesty that is totally unacceptable. It's inconsistent with the entire 2016 movement. And I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. It looks like the president's signing this, within minutes. But I'm one of his strongest supporters, and yet I'm being incredibly critical of him on this. This is a major failure. He's being played by the Hill, both Republicans and Democrats, by Speaker Pelosi most of all. He needs to veto this legislation and say, give us a CR, and I will negotiate with you, rather than relying on the feckless Senate Republicans who clearly didn't do their job, that they allowed this ridiculous provision to get into this bill.
So what should he do? You think he should just declare the national emergency and just go around Congress?
I do. I mean, and by the way, too, though, it's not going around Congress. Congress itself gave him this authorization.
Right, 76 law. Right.
Right. And by the way, I think it's a bad law. I said this last night on CNN. I think it's too expansive. I think it gives the executive too much power, quite frankly. But the Congress did it. So the idea that he's going around Congress is absurd. Congress specifically gave him this authorization. And it has been used for things as absurd as unrest in Burundi. President Obama declared a U.S. national emergency because of unrest in Burundi, a place that few Americans could even find on a map. So if unrest in Central Africa is a national emergency for the United States, then clearly a crisis, and it is a crisis, at our own southern border is a national emergency for the United States. Again, I don't love this law philosophically, but it is the law, and it has been for almost 50 years. And given that it is, he clearly has, in my view, the authorization to do this. So, yes, what I think he should do, yes to the emergency, no to this ridiculous bill. I don't want to play shutdown brinksmanship, though. Tell the Congress, pass a CR. And if they don't, and they may not, then at least that shutdown is on Nancy Pelosi, unlike the last one. This one would clearly be in their laps because the president is saying, I want the government open while we continue to negotiate and get these amnesties out of this bill. We did not run an amnesty, Dan. I mean, and Amy, this is not what we ran on in 2016. It's the antithesis of what we ran on. And so I'm really imploring the White House and President's supporters to get loud about this. And if he does sign it, we have to try to undo it as quickly as we possibly can.
He is Steve Cortez, CNN political commentator and former head of Trump's Hispanic Advisory Council. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
You bet. Have a great day.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you maintain an industrial plant, you know your dust collection systems are a vital part of the operation of your plant. Without them, things can get dusty quick. And when your dust collection system malfunctions, the downtime can cost your plant money. Time to call the professionals at Vans Industrial for help.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. At Vans, we work with many different types and sizes of dust collectors, from 1,000 CFM to 100,000 CFM. If your system needs housing repair, tube sheet, pulse valves, ductwork, or collection hoods, give us a call. Schedule an inspection today to keep things running smoothly and avoid costly downtime. And when you're ready for a new dust collector, we can design your system from the collection hoods to the stack for plants of all size applications.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
Oh, it's here, the cold and flu season in Chicago. Just look around the office. People are coughing. There's boxes of tissues out. People are sniffling, sneezing. And if you want to avoid getting sick, then you need to give your immune system a boost. And a great way to do that is with the fruits and veggies from Balance of Nature. We're all busy, and it's hard to get enough fruits and veggies in our diet. And that is where Balance of Nature comes in. 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies in a capsule to boost your immune system all winter long. You've heard the testimonials on this program. They're 100% real. Why? Well, I met with Dr. Douglas Howard, founder and creator of Balance of Nature, and he showed me the emails, played the voicemails, walked me through how they fresh dry the fruit, grind it up and put it in a capsule. There's no preservatives. It is the best. And you should be taking care of yourself. Don't wait another day. Try it now before you get sick. You can get 35% off when you order by using promo code Chicago. So go to balanceofnature.com. That's balanceofnature.com. Promo code Chicago, or call this number, 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751.
If you're serious about improving your home, why not make it easy? Don't miss the free Home and Garden Show this weekend only at the Arlington Racecourse in Arlington Heights. Find the ultimate in savings and convenience and see hundreds of the latest home products and services for thousands of the freshest ideas in remodeling, repairing, and beautifying your home inside and out. Get trusted advice for all your upcoming projects as you speak with local and national experts eager to help you with all of your home improvement questions. Plus, don't miss the free seminars all weekend, including kitchen design by Normandy Remodeling. See the latest trend in quality outdoor furniture made from recycled materials at By the Yard booth. The latest technology in home appliances offered by Grand Appliance, and so much more. From interiors to exteriors, from decor to outdoor, you'll find it all at the Home and Garden Show this weekend from 10 to 5 on Saturday and Sunday at the Arlington Racecourse in Arlington Heights with free admission and free parking. For details, visit homeshowarlington.com. That's homeshowarlington.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Stephen Leahy, and I help business owners, 1099 employees, and those with unfiled tax returns solve their IRS problems. And I'm also the host of the IRS Radio Hour.
And I'm Jim Leahy, the co-host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here every Sunday evening at 5 on AM 560.
The Answer. I know you want a local attorney you can look in the eye and hold accountable for solving your IRS problem, not some big box outfit without a Chicago connection. So today we have a special offer. A good night's sleep.
A good night's sleep? Are you trying to give away a pillow?
Great guess, Jim. But no, I want to help people solve the problems that are keeping them up at night. If you fear the IRS will take away your money, freeze your bank account, garnish your wages, visit your home or job, and now they can take away your passport, you need to hire me to solve your IRS problem for good.
Call attorney Stephen Leahy, your Chicago IRS answer man, at 312-664-6649, 312-664-6649, and get the IRS out of your business and your life for good.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we talked about this story earlier in the week. Finally made its way around from a November PGA tournament, the Mayakoba Golf Classic down in Playa del Carmen.
Oh, yeah.
Played that course. Matt Kuchar, his regular tour caddy was unavailable, I think under the weather. So he got a local caddy, a guy they call El Toucan.
Yeah, that's his nickname, right?
The Toucan.
Yeah, the Toucan.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Kuchar. Public enemy number one, but go on.
Kuchar wins the tournament.
Yeah, this story is unbelievable.
$1.296 million for first prize. So $1.3 million he wins. And he pays the Toucan $5,000.
Which is a joke because he should have gotten 10%, $130,000.
That's sort of standard on the tour. Then the Toucan contacted Kuchar's agent and said, hey, I don't want to put Matt in a bad light, but how about, a little something extra for the effort? And he said, well, there's no money, but when you die, you'll receive total consciousness. No, he didn't say that. He did say that what Kuchar gave him is fair. Kuchar then, seeming to realize the error of his ways, offered Toucan an additional $15,000, but Toucan basically said, I don't want your,
just
payoff money.
principle.
I want what I should have got, which is
Won the 130, or at least 125, or at least 100,000.
so.
I mean, Matt Kuchar, he's earned more than $45 million as a professional golfer.
Yeah, and then $1.3 million purse. This tournament, what would you have paid your regular tour caddy?
Well, he paid the caddy the flat rate, which is $1,500. But plus some, $5,000.
He said, Kuchar saying that the $5,000 was a good deal for Toucan because it's actually $1,000 more than they agreed upon. They agreed upon $4,000, $1,000 a day for the 4 days. I ended up paying him $5,000, and I thought that was more than what we agreed upon, Kuchar said. I kind of think if he had the chance to do it over again, same exact deal, that he'd say yes again. I feel like I was fair and good. You can't make everybody happy. You're not going to buy people's ability to be okay with you. And this seems to be a social media issue more than anything. I think it shouldn't be, knowing that there was a complete agreed-upon deal that not only did I meet, but I exceeded. So I certainly didn't lose sleep over this. This is something that I'm quite happy with, and I was really happy for him to have a great week and make a good sum of money. Making $5,000 is a great week. Not as great as making $130,000.
No.
Not as great as making $1.3 million. But here's the thing.
Yeah, so what's the...
I get it if that's right. So Kuchar, if I'll pay you $1,000 a month to carry my bag, you're not my regular caddy, you're not a tour caddy, so I'm not going to pay the same rate. But come on.
They'd never worked together before. I mean, this is such a great story, and then he ruins it by being a Pippin.
Well, right. The thing is, you know what the prevailing rate is. You won the tournament with this guy in your bag. So you don't want to give him the full 10% that you give your normal guy. But really, whether you agreed upon it or not, because you're just so excited to caddy in the tournament, and $5,000 for a weekend is a lot of money, particularly down in Mexico. But you had an opportunity to do something that would be life-changing for this guy who carried your bag and was part of winning the tournament, and it doesn't mean anything to you. Give him $50,000. You know what that meant to Matt Kuchar? $50,000 means to Matt Kuchar? Nothing.
No.
Give him $100,000, or give him the $130,000 that you would have given your tour caddy. It's just poor form. And since golf is a gentleman's game, I don't think Matt Kuchar's being a gentleman here.
Just so you know, a GoFundMe account has been set up by some fans that are clearly disagree with Matt Kuchar. Their goal is to raise $50,000. Right now, it's at $2,226.
You'll probably raise more than Matt Kuchar paid out.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to our friend, Hollywood screenwriter Andrew Klavan, about both his the Gosnell movie. He wrote the script for it, as well as, all things cultural. That's at 8:38.
But first, let's head straight into that newsroom to the one and only Mike Scott.
Wait till you hear who's going to run for president. We'll have that story in just a moment. Trade talks with China continue ahead of the March 1st deadline for higher U.S. tariffs on certain Chinese goods. The White House says the latest round of negotiations in Beijing produced some progress this week. In fact, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin met with the Chinese president this morning before boarding a flight back to Washington. President Trump planning to divert $8 billion that was budgeted for the Defense Department to use to build a border wall. White House says the president is going to declare a national emergency along the border with Mexico after he signs a funding bill that will avert a government shutdown.
I just had an opportunity to speak with President Trump, and he, I would say to all my colleagues, has indicated he's prepared to sign the bill. He will also be issuing a national emergency declaration at the same time.
The signing scheduled to take place at 9 a.m. Central Time, Rose Garden, a ceremony heard right here on AM 560. Stolen information from a massive data breach last year is up for sale on the dark web. The MyFitnessPal app disclosed a data breach impacting as many as 150 million users. Now, some of that data is being sold by hackers on the dark web in what's being described as a Valentine's Day fire sale. Former Massachusetts Governor William Weld is the first Republican to challenge President Trump for the 2020 nomination. Weld announcing in New Hampshire this morning he's created a presidential exploratory committee. You've heard the name of the 73-year-old before. He was a vice presidential candidate on Gary Johnson's failed Libertarian bid for president in 2016. Chicago police tell us they've been interviewing two persons of interest in connection to the alleged attack on Empire actor Jussie Smollett. Meantime, authorities are on the record confirming there is currently no evidence to back an ABC 7 report that the two men had staged that attack with Smollett, who feared he was being written off the Fox show, but the investigation continues. One man is dead, another seriously hurt following a shooting on Chicago's far north side. One man died at the scene, another, again, remains hospitalized. Chicago mayoral candidate Paul Vallas will release his first television commercial this upcoming week. The candidate is 9th out of 13 hopefuls in campaign fundraising. Patrick Kane, a goal and 2 assists. Blackhawks beat the Devils 5-2 at the United Center. They've won 8 of 9. Fighting Illini finding their stride late in the season. A road Big Ten win over Ohio State, 63-56. The news service of InvisibleFence.com. Millions of pet parents trust Invisible Fence brand with their pets. And right now, when you purchase their Consumers Digest awarded Boundary Plus technology, you get 45% off your second pet. Visit InvisibleFence.com to take advantage of this limited time offer. InvisibleFence.com. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager knows exactly where the Green New Deal takes us.
This is communist. This is not even socialist, if there is any difference. The alienation from everything America has stood for that is embodied in the Green New Deal is remarkable. Liberty, goodbye. In fact, affluence, goodbye.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. The working class is the backbone of our society. Because of sky-high taxes, Chicago working class is being forced to run for the hills for cities that are more open and tax-friendly. The laws should apply to everyone, not just a few. I propose that politicians who pass insane tax laws give up a portion of their own paycheck as a penalty.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
Varicose and spider veins. Wow, what a gift from my mom. She had them, I got them, and not only are they uncomfortable and sometimes painful, but I stopped wearing skirts and shorts because I was embarrassed and I really hated the way my legs looked. When my kids asked me, "What are those things on your legs?" I was done. I finally went to Vein Clinics of America. The procedure took about an hour and I was right back to work. What they're doing with lasers these days is unbelievable. The staff made me feel so comfortable, and the results, well, even my husband has noticed. Vein Clinics of America has been treating vein disease for over 35 years. They're the largest and most experienced in the U.S. Look, I've been doing the commercials for Vein Clinics for years because I really believe in them, and you can trust them too. The best part, my insurance covered the procedure, so stop hiding your legs. Call Vein Clinics of America now to see if you qualify for a free consultation. Call 800-375-8900, 800-375-8900. That's 800-375-8900.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
It is 8:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
On the northbound tri-state this Friday morning, we're seeing delays from 75th Street to 31st, from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower, then Deerfield Road before Everett with crash in the right lane. Southbound at Stop and Go from 60 to Everett. The Adams Tollway's okay. It's been Reagan Tollway tight from the Aurora Toll to Eola. The northbound Veterans Memorial from 75th to the Reagan Tollway. About Eden's 24 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose. Kennedy, 48 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 25 from Montrose, 20 in the Express. The Eisenhower's an hour, 390 to downtown, 43 minutes from Manheim. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 23 minutes, Siding to the Merge, Bishop 425. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, a breezy day ahead. Much colder today, intervals of clouds and sunshine, a high only of 22. Currently, it's 8 above under sunshine at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Jussie Smollett. His story seems to be deteriorating rather than being strengthened after his very soft Good Morning America interview with Robin Roberts yesterday. ABC, CBS reporting here locally that their multiple sources suggest that the attack on Smollett was staged and that it was staged because he was being written out of the show. Now, to be fair, the Empire denies that he was being written out of the show, number one. And then number two, Chicago police say they're still treating him as a victim. They have two persons of interest, the two silhouettes that we've seen in the video, that have been detained for questioning, their apartment searched.
Yeah, they live in Lakeview, and the store where they bought the clothing line, the Ace Hardware there in Wrigleyville, police have been to that shop. Also, these two brothers, one worked as an extra on Empire, and they're both from Nigeria. So within hours after the purported attack, Dan, they go to O'Hare, jump on a plane for Nigeria. They come back Wednesday. They're immediately taken in for questioning. They've been there almost for 48 hours, so they have to charge them or release them by 5:45 p.m. tonight.
Now, Smollett suggests that the two people on the video were the people that attacked him, and the two people on the video are these Nigerian brothers who were tracked down by police, apparently, by looking at rideshare receipts.
Yep, they took rideshare receipts from that area. They checked out, and it led them to their apartment in Wrigleyville.
And let me just say, and I've tweeted it out, Jussie Smollett's story that one of these two punched him, and then he punched that guy back, and then the other guy kicked him, and then for some unknown reason, they decided to scurry away.
Oh, but they poured bleach on him first and said, this is MAGA country.
If you see these two,
they're huge.
Let me just say something. If one of them, either one of them, had punched Jussie Smollett, we would be memorializing Jussie Smollett as an actor cut down in the prime of his career. That's what would have actually happened.
They're both received scholarships for football, okay? They're big dudes.
For more on this and a couple other topics, including the Gosnell movie, which both Amy and I have finally gotten around to seeing, we're pleased to be joined again by Andrew Klavan, podcaster, Another Kingdom is his podcast. It's in season 2. A screenwriter, Hollywood screenwriter, a number of films, including, of course, the Gosnell movie. Andrew, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure. Thanks.
So what about Jussie Smollett? I don't know if you had the time to get out and march with all the Hollywood celebrities in solidarity with him a couple weekends ago, but it doesn't look like that march is going to wear well.
Yeah, it's funny. First of all, the first thing that really strikes me about the story is how professional the Chicago PD has been. They sound like they're doing a very careful, very professional job, and I think that's to their credit. When this story broke, I have to tell you, the first season of Empire is one of the very, very few shows I've ever binged. I found it to be incredibly gripping and entertaining. I couldn't stop. I think I almost never watch more than an hour of TV on any given day. I think I watched 5 episodes in a row. I found it so addictive. And Smollett was one of the high points of the show, an amazingly talented, very appealing guy with a good storyline about a gay guy with a black homophobic father. I mean, just very, very powerful TV stuff. So I was a big fan, and the minute I heard the story, I said, this isn't tracking for me. And I didn't want to disbelieve him. I don't want to disbelieve him now, but it does sound that this is unraveling. And if I, who does a podcast, if a podcaster had enough wit to doubt the story, why didn't anybody in the press ask questions?
Well, they did. I mean, locally, on a national level, like all your Access Hollywood and all those guys.
No,
they were treating him as a victim.
Locally, they were on his side from the beginning. They didn't question it locally. This was Covington all over again.
And the national press was just embarrassing. I mean, it was just so credulous and so, again, all I ask is that just a little bit of doubt. It's like when you read a quote by George Washington that confirms all your political beliefs, I immediately check it out. I immediately assume that it's a fake quote because George Washington wasn't, a 21st century right-winger. He was who he was,
Right.
And so when I hear a story like this, and it just fits so easily into the left-wing narrative of what America is like, and includes guys walking around what is it? It's like 20 below out there.
It was minus 23-degree wind chill that night.
Yeah, wandering around looking to start trouble. It just didn't it didn't scan from the very start, and now it does seem like it's unraveling. Some of it is suspicious. Look, I'm perfectly willing to withhold judgment, but it's hard to withhold judgment on the press. I mean, it just seems to me that a press that just reports every story like this is just revealing about themselves what they think about America. You know, I'm a fiction writer all my life, and what I always say is fiction is a method of revealing the truth, but fantasy only reveals the truth about the person telling the story. And what this reveals about our press and maybe about Jussie Smollett is their sense of this country as a dangerous, hateful place. I mean, the story could have happened because, of course, there are dangerous, hateful people everywhere. But this country is not the kind of place where people go around getting attacked like this. It doesn't. When it happens, it makes news because it's so rare. It is so rare. And I mean, this is a country that has dealt with its racist past, has really experienced shame and a turning of the heart. And yet the left just cannot accept it. They really do believe, Michelle Obama really believed that Barack Obama at any minute was going to get killed if he pumped gas at a gas station. She really believed that. This is the story they tell themselves, and they ought to open their eyes and talk to some actual Americans and find out how people feel, because this is one of the most generous, open countries on earth, and it is, and I lived overseas for 7 years, it is the least racist country on the planet. Mm-hmm. And so what bothers me about this is the accepting of the story without questioning it, and the using of the story as if it were representative of America, of the American atmosphere.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the other thing, though, is on Smollett, the cynicism. What did he know? Assuming that this is embellished at the least or made up completely at the worst, what did he know? He knew that the narrative of the victim hero will be taken without hesitation by the press corps.
That's right. That's right. And what a sad thing it is. Here's this guy who's at the top. He's one of the top people. He's working in Hollywood. He's got a great hit show. What a terrible, sad thing to feel that he has to increase his visibility by treating himself as a victim. I mean, so many people of all different colors who are successful in athletics or in show business go out and serve charities and sit with sick children and front for good causes. He is going to establish his bona fides by getting himself attacked. I mean, what a sad way to use your celebrity. I mean, what a pitiful thing, really, to do if that's what it turns out to be. I mean, the whole idea, and so many of these hate crimes are faked today, on college campuses. So many are revealed to be fake. What a terrible thing it says about the mindset of people, that they feel that this somehow elevates them to be a victim. I think being a hero elevates you. I think being a good person elevates you. I think being a victim is just a sad thing that happens to some people, and it's awful, but it's not something I'd audition for.
I wanted to switch gears. Both Amy and I have had a chance now to see the Gosnell movie. We've talked about it before with you, but we hadn't seen it when we did. And boy, was that well done. It exceeded my expectations. And there were some, and I would just want to talk about a couple of choices you made. I don't want to do too much in terms of spoiler alert here, but you and everybody associated with it. And the acting.
The acting was amazing.
The guy who played Earl Billings, his name, I think, who played Gosnell, was good. Oh man,
he was amazing. Yeah. Like, he had his mannerisms down, and he nailed his character.
He was. Perfect. I mean, it's tough to play a sociopath that well, and boy, he did. But the choice to not disclose graphic images, and the way that it was presented during the trial of Gosnell, I thought was probably more powerful than if you had presented the graphic pictures. But that, and then so that was one moment, and the other moment for me was Janine Turner on the witness stand as the responsible operator of an abortion clinic, to distinguish herself from the irresponsible in Gosnell, and the presentation of her essentially through cross-examination as no different than Gosnell. I thought those were like two real inflection points in the film.
Well, thanks. I mean, the first one was something that everybody agreed on from the very beginning. I always remind people that the arts are something people do in their spare time. Nobody wants to go out to a movie and watch, babies being ripped to shreds. We wanted to talk about the personal drama. We wanted to talk about the human drama, and everyone was on board with that from the very beginning. that scene that you're talking about, I wish I could say, oh, I made that brilliant scene up, but I took it right out of the transcripts. I mean, obviously I had to edit it for space and, condense it into into screenplay form. But that actually happened in the trial, as so much of the stuff that happens. None of this is made up. So much of it comes right out of the transcripts. And it is an amazing moment, because one of the things that I kept finding, I think we all kept finding, is people didn't know. They didn't know what people would say. Oh, well, abortion should be legal to 20 weeks, and you start to count that on your fingers, and you think, wait a minute, that's 5 months. Does anybody think that a 5-month-old baby, 5-month-old baby in the womb is not an actual baby? I mean, that's insane. So much about abortion, which people don't think about, because people don't pay that much attention, is shocking when you actually confront it. And I think that that's one of the things about the movie, is it's not a story of bloodshed the way the movie is told. It's a story of moral atrocity more than physical atrocity. It's what people are accepting as normal in this country right this minute that is really something I think needs to be confronted. I think we're in a society right now with a couple of ideas that are actually psychopathic. And I think good people, really good people, do very bad things when the intellectual atmosphere of a country is sick. And, this is the kind of thing where you find in Nazi Germany, you'll find perfectly decent people doing terrible things. In the slave-holding South, you found perfectly decent people doing things that we now look back and think, how could they? How could they have done it? And I really feel the country is in this state right now where if the good people would just confront what this really is, look at the science, look at the pictures, look at the things we now know, I think that they would just rise up in horror and say, oh, my God, what have we done, Right. And so I don't think this is ever a matter of blaming individuals. It's a matter of looking at the society and saying, hey, we went down a wrong road. When you go down a wrong road, the way forward is back. And that's just something that I think this country really needs to be talking about and thinking about, and nobody should be intimidated into silence over it.
Well, the timing of this couldn't be better, too, for the discussion. I mean, with New York and Virginia and Rhode Island and Illinois.
Yep.
I mean, so to have this policy discussion, say, is this the kind of civilization we want to have? I think, your movie sets that discussion up perfectly.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. I mean, obviously that's, they always say God's timing is the best timing, and that's something none of us could have planned, but I guess it's kind of written into the idea. It's amazing. I mean, this is one of the things that I talk about more than anything. It's amazing how bad ideas, false ideas that don't accurately describe reality, lead all of us in an entire society into very, very dark places. And that's why it's important for people not to be silenced, and it's important for people not to be silent. We all have to say, let me examine that idea for a minute. I'm not going to attack you, but let me look at your ideas here and see if they make sense, see if they actually describe reality. And I think this is one of the big mistakes that this country has made. And I think, the way people look back and they blame guys like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson for holding slaves without really understanding what it's like to live in that kind of society. I think a lot of people are going to look back at us and feel the same way.
And was Gosnell that monster of a doctor? Was he really that way? I mean, I'll never forget the scene where he had blood on his lab coat, and then he sits down and has takeout Chinese food. And then he liked his animals more than innocent babies that he killed.
Those those depictions were taken directly from my conversations with the detective, the guy who's played by Dean Cain in the movie, and like a lot of police detectives, he's a great guy, and he just looks at the world and thinks, what the hell is going on here? And his description, especially of going in to search this guy's house, where everywhere he lived was just like an absolute mess, cats all over the place, leaving dirt everywhere, and when they came in to search this place, looking for evidence of very terrible crimes, Gosnell sat down and played the piano while they were searching, which is in the movie. And, he was telling me these stories with a look on his face like, I have seen things that said to me, like, I have seen things that you would not believe. And that personality was really
chilling.
It was taken directly from the things that the guys were telling me.
Did you ever find out the mother of baby boy A?
Did I ever find out who it was?
Yeah.
I don't believe I did. It's a while since I wrote it, but I don't believe I was trying to do that.
Well, one other thing I didn't know from the story, and I read about it at the time when the press actually started covering it. The blogger, was that real? That blogger played such an instrumental role in getting national media to pay attention to the case?
No, that is actually a condensed character.
Okay.
What really happened? I mean, the press ignored the case. It ignored the case, and finally, it was her name just slipped out of my head. But she was a journalist for a columnist for USA Today, very liberal columnist. Finally said, "Hey, you're ignoring this case because it's about abortion," and then people started to show up. And so she became the blogger character, and it kind of she wouldn't let us use her name, and so we condensed a few characters into the blogger character.
Just curious. All right, well, Gosnell, it's available on Amazon right now, so you can buy it or rent it, and you should do that. He is Andrew Klavan. You should also listen to his podcast, Another Kingdom. It's in season 2. Screenwriter for the Gosnell movie and many other films of yore, including true crime. Andrew, thanks so much for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Thanks.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve, and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM560 The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM560, The Answer.
You've invested a lot in your company's resources and reputation, so it's a logical next step to consider implementing or upgrading a commercial security system to protect your company and assets. Of course, you want to maximize ROI, so it's important to weigh the pros and cons of a business security system and determine how simple or complex of a system your business may need. Business security systems range in size and scale from simple individual alarm and camera systems to fully integrated complex designs that incorporate access control, CCTV, and management from a single platform across multiple sites. 2 Secure Inc., Chicagoland's business security experts, use the newest technology and can reduce costs by reusing your existing hardware and cable infrastructure. 2 Secure is offering a free, no-obligation, live, on-site CCTV demo. See for yourself how a new or upgraded security system can work for your business. Call 708-990-4408 or visit 2secure.com, 708-990-4408, or online at the number 2secureinc.com.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results may vary. See website for details.
But hey, I'm buying a huge flat screen TV so I can finally see it without my glasses.
Why not just get LASIK at the LASIK Vision Institute? That's what I'm doing.
My glasses and contacts are a pain. I'd love to finally get rid of these, but who can afford LASIK?
You can. Because the LASIK Vision Institute is offering dramatically low prices, as low as $220 per eye with an absolutely free consultation. Text START to 350350. The LASIK Vision Institute has already performed over 1 million procedures. They use advanced FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision for a fraction of what others charge. Better vision, better value. The LASIK Vision Institute. Make this the year you finally get LASIK for as low as $220 per eye. Text START to 350350. You'll see for free if LASIK is right for you. That's START to 350350.
Hey, listen. Did you hear